We have an exciting challenge here for the month of January 2024. It's going to be a 30-day challenge that will end at the end of the month. So, this challenge actually started a few days ago. If I could share my screen, let's see here. Let's put us down here. And if you're over here in the Power Apps community, I'm going to paste the link over there just in case you guys have never been. It's a free community. I do offer my Power Apps crash course for free there, so you might want to check it out. But it's a community where people can ask and answer questions. So I made this post down here called App Challenge Internet Bookmarks. This is something that I feel like I desperately need as a user. I don't know about you, Kurt. You got one of those big screens with all those internet links. I was looking for some cityscape images this morning. I like cityscape images. Now, do you guys notice the very top of the screen here? Let me get rid of all that distraction there. And look at the top. Look at all my internet bookmarks that go across the top. Isn't that a little something? And then I got this little chevron. Boom. Up there's and it like goes and goes. I don't want that. I want to have a screen full. You see, like here's some links here to some of the places I go or Chrome knows I've gone to in the past. Well, I want a whole screen full because I have so many, and I want to categorize them. I want to put them in folders. I want to tag them. I want to do all kinds of stuff.
Darren, just get a bigger screen.
I want it all.
Just get a bigger screen.
I did buy your screen. There's not enough room on my desk for it.
Get a bigger desk. Get a bigger room. Get a bigger house. Get a bigger city.
I get a bigger house, I'll start popping out more kids. I've already got 6 kids. I don't want to. Sometimes people ask me with my children, like, you know how that happens, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a whole nother topic. If you haven't figured out what makes that happen, I don't know. We're not even gonna talk about
it. Rick says, quoting the Black Eyed Peas, "Let's get it started." Yeah, so I actually sang that song at the beginning of a video that I did with Matthew Devaney when we were talking about responsive. I said, let's get responsive. Anyhow. So anyway, this is the challenge that I started. I've got a little Loom video where I talk about 5 minutes of exactly what I wanted to do, but I pretty much explained it. So I want a Power Apps that will list out all my internet bookmarks. I want to categorize them. I might want to put them in folders. I want to know which ones I use the most. So if you think about that, whenever somebody's using this app, first of all, they should only be looking at their own internet bookmarks, right? So we might as well make this app so that it can be used within an organization. Okay. And then whenever I click on a link or user clicks on a link, I want to keep track of every single click. And then I can actually sort all the internet bookmarks based on the ones I use the most. So I want to see the ones I use the most at the top. The ones I use once a year, it's okay if I have to go dig around for it, but I don't want to have to go dig around for internet bookmarks that I use every single day. So is that how you deal with your internet bookmarks, Kurt? You just have a real, how big is your monitor? It's like 55 inches or something, or 50?
So it's one of those 50 inches.
And I bet it's curved too, isn't it?
It's curved a little bit. Yeah. And it holds a lot of bookmarks. And I don't have as many bookmarks as you have, though. You may still not have enough room. I don't know. But, yeah, there's that. I never really thought about that idea too much yet. Because one of my problems is that I don't want to have an app that takes me longer to use it than it does for me to go into a folder. If I've got to have an app sitting out there, I want this thing to be really easy, really fast. How do I explain it? So like, let's say we're going to build an app that I want to keep track of my thoughts. So I'm going to have an app that tries to help me keep track of my thoughts. Well, then it takes.
Is that possible, Kurt? Is that possible to keep track of Kurt's thoughts?
No. But if I was going to try it, I wouldn't want this thing to take longer than the thoughts. You know what I mean? It's like it's taking me too long just to track the stuff. So now I've got another problem because I don't have time to worry about it. If I'm gonna have a bookmark app, I need this thing to be really fast, like an extension of my hand, so that I don't have to worry about it. Similar to what that bookmark uh, line up there is, right? So I want this thing to be fast, because if it takes me longer to go through that than to go over here and make a folder and put the stuff in a folder and find it, then it's not worth it to me to have an app. So we've got to do that. We got to make this thing slick and fast and easy to access.
I like that. Now, are you suggesting that we not use power apps because it's not fast enough?
No, I'm saying if we're going to do this challenges, we're going to have to make this thing fast enough. Like I want this thing to be like a terminate but stay resident, a TSR. I want this thing to be just
Okay.
something
Okay.
slick. Something slick.
I did see Fa'ar. Hopefully I pronounced your name right. We need
Fahar?
actually building booking room app. Maybe that could be the challenge for February.
Actually,
But in
building
these challenges, guys, I want you guys each to be building your own app. And at the end, what I want to do is showcase the top how many ever of these. I want you guys to have some of your own ideas and at the end of the month sort of review that. What do you think of that, Kurt?
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
So what's exciting about a challenge? You're being challenged to compete with others, right? So I know I joined a challenge years ago about to lose weight, at the CrossFit gym, whoever lost the most pounds in that, like in an 8-week period, everybody signs up for $50. Well, people get like 90% of that money, whoever gets first place or whatever. And that motivates you. It's like, well, hey, I've got a lot of fat to lose. Maybe I can win this, And then after a week, I'm like, but
right.
How can we make this exciting?
The most exciting thing about any kind of challenge to me is that, maybe we might on the surface think of this as a competition between each to who can come up with the coolest, slickest idea. But in the end, all challenges are about competing with yourself. How do I make this thing as slick as I can? Or how do I lose the most weight that I can? Or how do I get it? Always ends up being about you and challenging you to do the best job that you can. Doesn't really matter in the end who's the best at whatever. It's just that you're doing the best that you can at the place where you're at right now in this moment.
I saw a counselor once, Kurt, and they told me not everything is about me. So you're telling me this really is all about me.
Not everything is about you, but in the end, everything turns into a being about you. because
a challenge where you're trying to code better is
right. Well, and it's all about your perception too, right? It's all about being the best you that you can be. And if that means you're trying to be a Power App programmer or a Power App developer, whatever word you're wanting to use, a coder, then it's about being the best that you can be at it. And if you're a beginner at this thing, you're not probably going to be expected to be as good at developing something as somebody who's been doing this for 30 or 40 years. Maybe you are, though. Maybe your fresh new insight's going to be able to change the whole world in this thing. It could, but you're never going to know unless you try. But in the end, it's all about being where you're at right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a healthy thing to, it's unhealthy to compare yourself always to other people. And with that, because you fall in this trap, let's say you're trying to learn Power Apps and you're going to compare your beginning, let's say with my end or somebody else's end, right. or hopefully I'm not done here. Hopefully this isn't my end.
and but, I think that's, Darren, and sorry to interrupt, but I think that's why people quit their challenges, why they quit trying to lose weight, because they compare themselves to others and they're not moving as fast as you are or whatever. They don't do as well. They compare themselves to others and they say, I can't measure up. If you ever compare yourself to somebody else, you will never measure up, ever. You're always going to come up on the short end of the stick. Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good. No, this is actually good stuff. A lot of times I see people who are trying to master the Power Apps, trying to learn this stuff, and they come across these frustrations, and there's something that I hope I can provide in these live streams. You guys will see me struggle. So what does that tell you? Struggle's the name of the game. It
is.
Sometimes life isn't easy and tidy and clean. Sometimes it's messy. Especially software development. Things don't always work the way that you want them. Let's say, I know how to, with any other job, you're like, okay, I know how to make an omelet. I'll go downstairs, I'll bring it up pan, I crack a few eggs, and I don't know that I know how to make an omelet. I'm just throwing out ideas of maybe what I would do. But you learn how to do it and you do it. But with programming, it's not like that. I mean, you open up Power Apps Studio or Visual Studio, and you're like, okay, well, this should be something like, step one, step two, step three. I create the screen, I create the code, I create the database. Should all work. Oh my goodness, no, there's a lot more to it. Yeah, you'll see. So I don't like to see people discouraged. I'm like, no, no, these weird setbacks, these weird errors you come across. Sometimes there's errors in Microsoft stuff, sometimes you got to exit and go back in. It's not you.
Yeah, I think that's what makes your live streams better than others. Maybe if we were to measure, I hate to compare you to others.
Well, I don't want to compare myself to them
because we're talking about comparing ourselves to others. But that's what I like about yours. You bring something that a lot of people don't. And I don't know, I've not seen everybody's live streams, but I've seen a few.
Yeah.
And most people try really hard to be perfect in their live streams, including you. But the thing of it is that I remember many times you come to me saying, man, I just feel like I just can't do that. I feel like I failed because, I had an hour there where I was trying to debug this thing. And I couldn't figure it out, and it ended up being something dumb. And and I said, au contraire. I said, au contraire. That's what the people who are watching you love, because that's what happens to me and you. That's what happens to us. We get stuck. And so then we see you doing this, and you've been doing this for 20 years. And we say, well, if it's happening to you at 20 years, well, then of course it's going to happen to me. So now I don't feel so bad about when I'm stuck for an hour, Yeah. And we get to think, golly, Darren, are you dumb? No, I'm teasing.
I tell you what, my mentor told me I was the best student he ever had. So I'm going to throw that back at you.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I've brought up my ERD diagram, which is what I love to do. I like to look at the data and design the data. It gets me right into it. And maybe we could just we'll sort of take a different route here and start with the ERD diagram, but we actually do need to have some good requirements. I recommend anybody does. And you guys are doing this challenge. How do you know how do you know your app is good, or how do you know that your app met the mark? Well, if Darren uses it at the end of the 30 days, it's good. That's what you always tell me. It's like, an app's good, it's being used, right? But right. If somebody doesn't, I'm like, well, I wanted the feature where it had images for every single, and you're like, well, you never told me that. So we actually need to talk about the requirements.
Well, and I think that's what's really good to do. I like using the database table to do that, because if you're using the table to create a table, now which came first, the data or the requirement? I don't know, because oftentimes when we're talking about the requirement, then that adds to the data. But sometimes when we're looking at the data, that says, oh, we needed to do this, So oftentimes I like starting with the data,
Okay, well, let's start with the data this time. I'd like to circle back to the requirements to make sure we've got some good written requirements. But this is going to be a big part of the requirements right here. So we've got an internet bookmark. I'm just going to call it a bookmark here. And of course, we're going to need a URL and the ID. So we're going to use SharePoint for this project. What do you think of that? Because not everybody's got the premium license.
Is it because 70% of the people that you deal with have
70%? Okay,
That's because there was a poll out there that said 70.1%. Yeah,
that's why that statistic. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of SharePoint, but I see the need and to be able to know it very well, because most of your clientele, if you're going to be a developer, is going to be dealing with SharePoint. So, it's kind of like in the old days. I hated using COBOL. I was trying to convert people into C++, but I had to know COBOL in order to go out there and do it. Because I had to be able to change things over. So there you have it.
I got a question for you, Kurt. Let's say we're managing hundreds of bookmarks. I want to have a category in here. Now, do I make this a single line of text and just throw in a word of a category, or should I make this a separate table? Okay. And I'm thinking one-to-many relationship there. But what if I want to have a bookmark a part of several categories?
Now you need a many.
Yeah, there you go. So I think what I'm going to think of an example. I'm trying to think of an example. So let's say something could be financially related, something related to my personal finances. But then I've got maybe a category for taxes or the IRS, you know,
Yeah.
and I might have a document that I upload or an internet bookmark that would actually be a part of both.
Mhm.
There was, and we talked a lot about one-to-many relationships. We talked a lot about many-to-many relationships. Guys, if you go into YouTube, type Darren East relationships, I've got all kinds of relationship advice for you. And Kurt as well. You'll see. Somebody yesterday told me the best Dataverse video you've got is the one where Kurt showed how to do many to many. And that, you know why? You know why it's awesome? Because Kurt makes amazing labs and practical exercises. That's why.
Ah.
I don't want your head to get too big here, though. So one of the accelerator students, they were trying. They had a list. Okay, so I'm gonna just sort of demonstrate something similar to what somebody had, and I want to create a video. And this might be a good opportunity on how to do this. Okay, now Kurt, I'm going to allow you to talk about this, where we've got, let's say, a list of categories, and we might have a little string field in Bookmarks that has all the categories that it is a part of, separated by a little comma and a space. What do you think of that? You think that's a good way to go or not, and why?
I don't like that idea. No.
Why is that?
Well, I just don't know how. Okay, so I love it how you just kind of put me on the spot on certain things, you
I
know.
love it too.
And I got to sit there and think about it because I wasn't ready to think about it. I prefer to have a category ID and have a category table out there, and then
Yeah.
you would just have if something was a part of multiple categories, you would have a table out there that would be tracking them, a category mapping table. I think that that's the way to handle that. And then that way, if you go out there and grab a topic, it goes out there and gets everything within that category ID in that mapping table. I don't know. What do you think?
You know what I almost want to do? I'd almost want to do it both ways. Now, you wouldn't want to do this with any other app. Do it both ways, because that, you just need one source of truth. It's just going to be, but for the purpose of learning, say like, okay, this is how you would do it if you wanted to have a bunch of categories and shove them all into a long string field. Okay, so in this case, their example was states that like a project applied to. So you got 50 states, and they had a one called all, and yeah, they were putting it all in there. And some of the decisions, the design decisions for that application, I think that she wasn't at liberty to make those decisions because somebody started the app and gave her the app, and she had to deal with it right there. So we were trying to work through it. And I think that type, so let me explain a little bit more of like how this might look if we did it that way. Okay.
So
Real quick,
that wasn't the only one that I saw like that. We had an accelerator student that was doing a voting app, and they had everything concatenated across in a string as well. So this is, you're right. This is a topic that happens a lot. That is,
it does.
I think that they had an opportunity there because somebody else designed that to change that design, or maybe they weren't sure how to convert the two. So I think it's really important this is a good topic, Darren, because I think a lot of people out there, when they hear many to many, this is what it's saying. This is what we're saying. You can have a string out there that can concatenate and go across, or you can put it in a table. And so you doing both, I think, really helps that exercise. It's a good exercise for people to learn this. This is maybe one of the most important concepts in programming, database programming.
Now, Shell said something here. I love Darren because no love for Kurt. I love it. I love Darren because he talks it out and does not cut out the problems. He teaches how to problem solve. So by the way, I'm going to call you Shell because that's what you have there. Thank you, Shell. And so Shell is an accelerator student. Shell, is there anything you'd like to say about the accelerator program? I don't know if everybody's familiar with the accelerator program, but
that was another thing I was going to say, Darren. You had mentioned accelerator. I was like, well, first maybe we need to tell people about what is accelerator program, because
Exactly.
might
We
not know.
commit to you. We commit to you for a year, for full 12 months. Make sure we come beside you and we help you with your projects you're working on. We've got a lot of videos that you guys don't see here on YouTube. We've got,
That's right.
oh my goodness, how much? I mean, there's so much. We have a whole hour and a half video where we talk about everything that's included in that program at a high level. If you guys want to, I'm not going to go through all this now because I don't want to bore you. But for serious minds that need to master Power Apps, so I'm going to make ourselves a little smaller. I think we might cut it off a little bit there. So maybe I shouldn't do that. And I just wanted to say a little bit about this because it comes up a lot. A lot of our accelerator students joins these live streams, and they talk about how helpful it is. And this is my passion. I like to help people. I want to be vested. I told somebody earlier this week, hey, I'm in it. I'm in this for the long haul for you. You committed. You committed, and I'm not going to let you fail here. We're going to get through this, and you're going to come out the other side, and you're gonna master Canvas Power Apps.
Yeah.
And it's exciting. So I just have all these bullet points. I'm not even going to say them. But you were going to say something, Kurt?
I just want to say I believe that you could sum up the accelerator program in one nutshell, and that is that Darren talked to me one time. He's been doing this YouTube channel for a long time now. And he said, I just feel like people are looking at the videos and they're just cutting and pasting and they're not really learning anything. And he says, I want to develop something that's going to help people think outside the box and not be cutting and pasting code, but actually understand why they're putting the code where they're putting the code. And so that's why he developed this accelerator was basically the end product of that. He and I got together on some stuff on how to put this thing together a little bit. And he has got a plan here that is just amazing. It's a great model. Just wanted to say that before you got going on your thing.
Well, thank you, Kurt. Mm-hmm. And of course, Shell says, I just want to let you know that she put you in there as well. Of course, LOL.
Well, thank you. I feel better. I feel tons better now. My whole ego was just adrift.
So, guys, I'm gonna say one more thing about the accelerator, and then we're gonna get back to this bookmark app, okay? And so I got something prepared for you guys. I think you'll like it. Power Apps has been the key ingredient for the hundreds of people that we've helped dominate in their organization. With this one skill, you're able to simplify processes for countless tasks like tracking leads, doing inspections, logging attendance, booking desks in a shared office, generating reports, tracking employee performance, and the list goes on. If you have a project that you need to get done, or you're an IT professional or a developer, or if you plan to eventually do some freelancing work with Microsoft Power Apps, I am literally the only person you need to accomplish your goals. Spreadsheets and all the old ways of doing things are becoming redundant, and the people who are able to build Power Apps are going to accelerate their professional career so much faster than everyone else who's okay being average. I have over 20 years experience as a software developer and have been working in Power Apps for over 3 years. We have lots of course material for you, but if you're eager to accelerate your expertise with Power Apps at a much faster pace and want to work directly with me, this is what me and my team are going to do for you. Number one, we're going to figure out exactly what projects and skills you're working on and the overall end goal. Number two, we're going to get clear on exactly what data sources are needed for your projects. If it's a particular project with a deadline, we're going to work with you to make sure that you meet that deadline. And number four, we're going to work with you to make sure that you master the platform. So not only can you finish any projects that you're currently working on, but the projects that come up in the future. And you might want to take those skills and become a freelancer in the future. If that sounds like something that you're interested in and you want to expedite the process of being able to build apps that can literally be used for years, and you want to be an important asset to your organization and any future companies you work for, click the button below and we can have a 15-minute chat about what you're needing and how we can help. Well, hey, all right, we're back. And Michelle says, no, Kurt, I love you too.
Thank you. Thank you. And I love you too.
All right, so this is exciting. The one thing I did while that little video clip was playing, I changed this to category listing because I want a many-to-many relationship. I'm going to create another table with any many-to-many relationship. Kurt, what do we need to make it a many-to-many relationship? Check 1, 2, is this thing on?
What happened? I must have missed something there. I was listening. You must have cut out.
Okay. I
I'm sorry.
So with any many-to-many relationship in a relational database management system, okay, you got two tables and there's a many-to-many relationship.
Right.
Is there anything that we need
Okay.
to
Okay.
make
All right.
this
Yeah.
actually happen?
Yep. Yeah. We need
What
something in
is
the
that?
middle that maps the two together, right? We need something that's just a simple table that can have two different IDs.
Okay. So can you tell me more about that? Why do we need something like why do we need another table? Why can't we just make a relationship between these two and say many to many?
Well, because here's the thing. One bookmark can have many categories, and one category can have many bookmarks. Whenever you ask yourself when you're developing that's for me, that's what helps me the most. That's the empirical question. Can one bookmark have many categories? And can one category have many bookmarks? Now it's a many to many. Does that make sense to you guys? I that's really important right there. When you do that now, you're going to say, okay, so I need a table where I can search for the many categories that my bookmark ID might have. So we have a bookmark category table sitting out here in the middle of this, and it's going to have a bookmark ID and it's going to have a category ID. And I can do a filter now on that bookmark ID to find out how many bookmarks or how many categories do I have within that bookmark? And it's going to pull out
You're
all the
telling me, Kurt, you just said I need a bookmark ID. So I made that there. So that links up to this, right?
exactly right.
And I'm
And
going to
if we
make
were,
that many to one. Does that look right? So these three little lines, that means
yep,
many, right?
yep,
So this would be the one to many. How do you keep that straight in your head? How do you know what side is the one and what side is the many?
because you're going to have the noun. Look at the noun, right? So your bookmark, this is how I do it. The noun is the bookmark. That's where the primary key is sitting. You've got a primary key within your noun, all right? A noun is a person, place, or thing, or a person, place, or thing that you're going to be tracking, right? And so you got your bookmark sitting out there. That's a thing. And so I'm going to have an ID for everything that I'm tracking within that bookmark. I'm going to do the same thing with the category. The category, that's another thing that I'm going to track,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I'm going to have a
Yeah.
primary key for that. So then when I go to the many side, that's where those are going to be. The many side is going to be where all those things are tracked. So the things that the many is going to be always in a many to many relationship. In the many side is always going to be the mapping table.
Okay. So Kurt, what do I draw a line between this ID and this ID? How do I
No, that bookmark category ID is not going to work. That ID is a primary key for that table, right? You've got a bookmark ID center, so you need to add another field called a category ID.
Okay, let me do that. Category ID. Okay. And I'm
And
just
then
going to drag this over to this ID.
exactly right. Exactly right.
And is that right? Is this many side right? And this is the one?
Looks good to me. Looks perfect.
I think this is the one big thing people don't understand about when they come into Power Apps. Maybe they're a citizen developer. Maybe they have no experience as being a software developer, very little experience with databases. This is the one thing you got to wrap your mind around. And it seems like it's what would you call it? A behemoth? I don't even know what a behemoth is. But
It's something really big.
It's something what?
It's something really big.
You know, you just got to wrap your mind, like spend just a little bit of time here. And if you guys are here on this live stream, you have a question about what we're doing here, ask now. Because once you wrap your mind around this, I think this is like this type of stuff. If you understand it, you can be writing apps. And you told me, Kurt, back in the day, 25 years ago, Darren, if you can read a record, write a record, process a record, you could work right beside me. That's essentially what I do all day.
Yeah.
With record.
I used to have a chess master who taught me how to play chess, a real grandmaster. And he used to tell me this concept that I'm teaching you in chess, do not try to go on in anywhere further in your chess journey until you understand this thing right here. And
Really?
I'm saying that this is probably just as important. I'm not saying that I'm a grandmaster in Power Apps, but I am saying this. Don't move on in your Power Apps journey until you understand this concept like the back of your hand. Know this like there's just nothing else. Like you could sleep with this. I mean, it's nothing. Like you're doing this, your eyes are closed, and I'm going to create this. You got to know this concept, guys. And the hurdle is not as high as you think it is. It's really just that simple. But just keep going over it until you got it in your head. And maybe build a little lab that kind of demonstrates that for you. You know, we've got some videos that do that for you too. So
We do. Yeah, we try to cover this stuff really thoroughly because I think it's a one thing that is sort of lacking. And I mean, you try to get some Power Apps training. Yeah, you should be learning Power Apps, right? But there's so much to the real world while you're working with Power Apps that you need to know.
yeah,
And I'm trying to sort of fill in those things um, that are essential. Now, because we're using SharePoint here, guys, notice we have an ID in every table, okay? And big now the types. This Draw SQL website, it works with SharePoint. I'm sorry, no. It works with MySQL, Postgres, and SQL Server. Those are the three. And so I went with the one Microsoft. And so these types are actually from SQL Server. So don't get hung up on any of that. But I'm going to make sure every single table has an ID and title. And I do not mess with the title. I do not rename the title under any circumstances. And then I just add to these things. Now, a category, what are the types of things we might want to have in category? Like maybe color or something? I don't know. I'm just thinking,
yeah,
guys
yeah.
in the
I
chat,
like it.
give
I
us some
like it.
ideas.
I like that. Unless you wanted to create that as you wanted that to be more freeform, allow the user to select. I yeah, or maybe they could select the color based on, you know, their categories. They could create it. Maybe you'd have a color table sitting out there, and they could, I don't know, yeah, color ID maybe.
Okay. Yeah. So Microsoft is really, it's a good thing that they keep adding stuff to Power Apps. They keep improving it, not just fixing bugs, but throughout new functions. And you've got a lab too that deals with color, right?
Yeah,
Have you noticed that? I think I sent you a link. There was a link from somebody I respect over on LinkedIn, and he mentioned it's like, hey, there is now a function called des to hex and hex to dec or des.
yeah. Yeah, actually, Shell out here, Shell actually used that back when she was doing her lab too. And I said, "Oh, well, you cheated. You can't use one of those kinds of things. You got to do it the hard way. You got to learn it the hard way." Remember that, Shell? Yeah, that's one of the things. It is kind of cool that they're making this for the citizen developer. But when I'm trying to teach people, I'm hoping that they can learn how to do things the hard way so that way they can they can understand how those other things are being done. The concept, does that make sense? Sometimes I feel like I'm just going you know.
No, it's wisdom. I know it's wisdom. I know when you taught, you're like, guys, listen up. People pay big money for this. Not only does that mean it was going to be on the test, but no, for real. Like you were bringing stuff from the real world, and people that were taking the class, they may not have realized or are used to your style of teaching.
Yeah.
But you weren't giving them fluff. You weren't blowing hot air. You didn't use a textbook, guys. It's like you sat there and you were giving us everything that really you should have been taught from the get-go. You probably took you a lot longer to learn Visual
Yeah.
Basic or programming than it does to teach someone, right?
Sure. And yeah, it's one thing you could do like the hex to des and the des to hex, but don't you just look smarter if you know how to do that conversion yourself? I don't need that. I don't need that silly function to do that. I can do that on my own. I mean, you just little things like that make you look like this guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah. Nobody has their smartphone. Who can do long division? Oh, if only we had a smartphone with us or a computer.
Yeah.
Oh I'm looking for something to put at the top here. Yeah, if you guys want to get a part, with the Power Platform community, the links at the top. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get out of my full screen mode. I was sort of wanting to still see the top there. Never mind. I'll just go back to.
Now, Darren, I'm gonna throw something at you here, and maybe we can. I want you to do this. This is what I would like you to do. Now, you can say no. Let's just move on because you got this mission here, and somebody might want to say no. But I would like you to stop right here,
Really,
and go out there to your Power app, and make a gallery with bookmarks and categories, and show how this mapping thing works, so that we could demonstrate that just right there with the little table that you got right now. Can we do something like that? Just
sure.
as we're building this so that people can understand the concept that we're trying to work with here and why
Absolutely.
we're doing it like this. Okay.
Yeah, well, let's do that. Let me get out of there. Let me go over here to Power Apps and look at this. I already have a blank slate here for us to work with.
Nice.
So it took us 36 minutes to get into Power Apps, and this is a Power Apps video.
Don't feel bad. I'm working on a project right now. It's been spinning for 4 hours loading.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh
Okay.
my goodness. Okay, so we're in Power Apps. You know what I want to do from the get-go?
We want to build a table. We need to build some tables. We need to build 3 of them.
The first thing I'm going to do, if this is a project from scratch, and there's not a lot of stuff that I want to bring over from my Jumpstart kit, because literally when that thing goes, when I'm using the app, I don't want to see menus. I just want to see bookmarks, and that's
right.
it.
That's right. You don't want to see no fluff.
So one of the first things I will do with any project, I'll go to this light theme because it's gray and it won't clash with any other color themes I go with. And then also what we may want to do we want to use any modern controls, Kurt?
We might as well, since they're going to be there.
So I'm going to turn that on and then click close. Now we've had quite a few videos of the last 2 or 3 live streams where we've talked a lot about the modern controls.
Yeah.
We actually have, if you guys are familiar with our personal pocket coaching, we've gone into even more depth into these modern controls.
I love this PPC thing. I'm going crazy. Darren has just let me go. He's just unleashed me. He said, "Go get him, Kurt. Go get him." And I just go out there and I have fun with this thing now. I'm having a blast.
Well, Kurt, so what my offer is, if you sign up for personal pocket coaching, you guys get a 5 to 10 minute video from either one or both of us every single day of the week, every single day of the month, every single day of the year. So in a year's time, in the 365. Kurt, is that a leap year or is it?
No, 366 is a leap year. Yeah,
is the leap year. Okay, so if it's a leap year, I think this year's a leap year. You guys
get 366. We don't do one on leap year. No, I'm teasing. No, even leap years we're doing.
But look at all the stuff we talked about. So you go back to December. We actually started this back in right before Christmas. Guess what? Everybody signed up for PPC, personal pocket coaching. Got something on Christmas. They got something on Christmas Eve. They got something on New Year's Eve. They got something on New Year's Day. Look at these.
Show them the one that you released today.
Oh, yeah.
Just the one that got released today.
Local variables and update context. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what I'm going to need to do, Kurt, in order for them to hear the sound, I need to remove my screen and then re-add it. Okay. So I know people are going to be interested in seeing this.
This is cool stuff, guys.
Pretty cool.
What a great idea.
So here we are again. All right, so I'll play this. How long is this, Kurt?
Well, the whole thing's 9 minutes. I'm going to talk to you guys.
9 minutes. So these, and why we call it personal pocket coaching, is it's a 5 to 10 minute video. It's a bite-sized thing. Let's say you're sitting on the toilet and you don't want to flip through TikTok. No, learn your Power Apps while you're in there.
That's not what you do there.
Taking a little 15-minute break, you pull up Kurt and Darren and let us teach us some more about Power. I'm really proud about the one that I think I released yesterday. This is the one that we released today. The acceleration. I almost want to show people that real quick, but
Okay.
But you did a great job on this, man.
I'm going to talk to you guys about local variables today. Very important subject. Local variables juxtaposed to global variables. We talked about that in other videos, but today is going to be specifically the local variable, where a local variable you're only going to see on one screen. We call those.
Now, I'm not going to play the whole thing here, but
I never changed my shirt, by the way.
You never change your shirt. You look like, have you ever seen the movie The Matrix? And you got Neo, Keanu Reeves, and he's doing the kung fu and stuff. He has a black shirt, almost like you. So that's what I think of when you're wearing that black shirt. He's like, almost like a ninja or something. You're just missing your ski mask. You'd be a full ninja then. So what were you doing here in this video, Kurt? So you got initialize, add 5, subtract 5. What's going on there?
I'm just showing how to manipulate the content variable that function.
Okay. Looks like you're doing some interesting stuff here. So if somebody watches this video, will they have a good feel for when to use a local variable and how to use the update context?
Yeah. That and how to pass to another screen. Yeah.
Now you went full screen here at the end. Is there anything that
hope that helps? Hope you enjoyed it. I know I did. Can't wait for the next one. Talk to you soon.
Look, you're having fun doing that, man. Is every day a Saturday for you?
Every day's Saturday.
Guys, yesterday, I hope you guys don't mind this little digression. We just like having fun, talking about power apps and hanging out with you guys. That's pretty much what our goal is here. So if we can do that, we've done our job. Guys, today we're going to acceleration. You guys know that there's an acceleration function. It's almost not even a function because you don't use print. And I talk about that in the video. I thought this was going to be a 2-minute video. No, it ended up being a 10-minute video.
Talk about acceleration. Now,
I built out the screen. So, I'm gonna mute it here. Okay. And so the acceleration's got an X, Y, and it's got a Z. So if you're doing gestures with your phone, of course, this isn't going to work in a browser. Okay. And so that's why in the second half of this video, you see me go outside for the first time in a while. And actually I'm walking around and you hear me out of breath. And I was trying to see what happens if I run with this thing. I start running and then I stop. You guys, look at me.
Hold on. How did you run?
Like 2 houses, two people's yards.
Oh, wow.
Is that like a mile?
That's a lot further than I thought you were going to go.
But so I'm using my phone camera here, guys, right? So I put it down on the sidewalk. I've got all my double chin showing and everything. And then I think this is where I start running. You see the Florida sun coming in and you see these things change. I thought that was so cool. I had so much fun creating this. So anyway, so this is the type of stuff that you get with the personal pocket coaching and something that actually Shell just mentioned. I'm running a special for the New Year's. I was running it for like, the holidays and stuff, but I'm extending it for the New Year's here. So Shell says, get the Jumpstart Kit. Helped me so much. Yeah. The Jumpstart Kit has been a huge asset for everything that I do when I'm building apps. But this is actually a good segue. Her mentioning the Jumpstart Kit. So if you're here in the community and you scroll down, actually it's at the very top. Personal pocket coaching. Look at these topics. So what I do is I show you guys all the topics down here at the bottom. And the one, so we started on Christmas Eve. So it shows you how dedicated, guys, we are to getting these out to you. And it's my goal to have these, have maybe 30 done up front so I can actually take vacations and stuff. I don't think we're quite there yet, are we, Kurt? Can you make a few more for me? We talked about Excel as a data source and all this stuff. But the reason why I went to this little thread was that if you purchase the year up front, now it's, I think I have it set up for like $50 a month. Okay. $47 a month. And that's a discounted rate. But if you want a bigger discount, if you sign up for the annual, you get my Jumpstart Kit. I sell that for $250. You get my full ticketing system course. I sell that for $500. and you get a tutoring session with both me and Kurt on the line at the same time. My wife is a marketing expert. She says, Darren, you actually created a like an offer, an irresistible offer. And that's what I wanted to do. It's Christmas time. I wanted to, and it's a new year and people are looking to do new things, New Year's resolutions. Why not make 2024 the year that you master Power Apps? So if you go to the annual plan, you'll see that information there. And you're getting a discount. So if you take 47 times 12, you're actually getting a bit even better of a discount here. And you've got all those bonuses. So I at least wanted to mention that to you guys, so you guys are aware of that. And then Shell says in Accelerator, you get to hang out 4 days a week. Yeah, we meet on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at different times to help people on different time zones. We have people all over the world. Yeah, we have some good conversations. We like to have a good time. It's almost like having a little Power Apps club or something. We meet and hang out. So, and if you're an Accelerator student, look at this, you get 75% off. So the links are over in the Accelerator School. So hopefully nobody minded me going into that. And now if you're interested, these are all the topics. I mean, the ABS function. Have you ever heard about the ABS function? And that's what I'm doing. Have you ever thought about using Excel as a data source? Well, we talk about all the pros and cons and we take 10 minutes to do it. So we actually cover it pretty thoroughly. I thought that would probably be just a little 3-minute video, you know, how you name your variables. Kurt, you did this one. January 1st, I was actually in a hotel room up there visiting you. And I said, well, let's create an app that keeps track of all of our New Year's resolutions. So we make an app in 11 minutes. So yeah, you can check these out. We look up function. You did a great job on that one, Kurt. And everyone, we might actually take some of these and release them on YouTube, but for the most part, 90% of them, you're not going to see them unless you join the PPC. So if you ever hear us say PPC, you're like, PPC, personal pocket coaching.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, this is not like these videos are completely abbreviated compared to what we do in Accelerator as well. You know?
All right, Kurt. I need your expertise today because I think that you've got a fairly good handle on responsive apps, and I want to make mine responsive. Now, I want everybody to do theirs as good of an app, and I think making something responsive does add a lot of value to it. So I'm going to scroll down here. Are there any settings here, Kurt, that we need to set up to make this responsive to take up the full screen? What do I do?
Go down display like you did. You go to settings and display, and also I'm echoing really bad. Is that because the system that you did when you were trying to show
what? That does happen. Let me take this out. I'm going to remove my source, and I'm going to re-add it. Thank you for mentioning that, because the last thing I want to do is go for an hour or two with a bunch of echoing.
Yeah.
My first live stream, I did that.
You told me that. You told me one time people can put up with some bad video, but they can't put up with bad audio. And I just didn't want everybody. If it's echoing for me, it might be echoing for them. So I said, right. So you go into settings, and then you go into display, and then you just select the scale to fit and turn that off.
Turn that off. Okay. And it turned off.
Everything else.
Turn that one off at the same time. What's that?
You are now. Yeah. It turns everything else off, and you are now responsive. So now when you free, you're free. You're
like a free bird.
Yeah, and they've got some really good. So my first thing I do is if I'm building this, now there's two ways you can do. If you're going to build this from a gallery, that's one way. But then let's just try it this way for now, and then we can kind of play with it as we go. So go over there and get you a responsive container. I don't care which one you get, because I'm going to show you something on that too. It doesn't matter which one, horizontal or vertical. Those are your two responsive containers.
Doesn't matter which one.
Nope. And the reason why I say it doesn't matter is because if you look up at the top on your right-hand panel, you'll see direction. You see direction on your right-hand panel where your properties are at.
Oh, really? Look at that.
So you can switch that, right? That's why I wanted you to do it that way. You can do it any way you want. but I like to do
You're
the
still the
horizontal.
professor, man. You're still teaching me things.
And I'm still learning too. So now what I do is I'll make that thing the same exact size as your screen. Make that thing cover your entire screen. And then of course you want to change that height and width to be able to go along with your app.active screen dot width dot height.
Yeah, that needs to be dynamic, right? If we want this to all be,
Yes.
so you said the width, I go in here.
Yep.
And I say, would you say screen?
I said app.active screen. Do you have the
Look
app
at this,
option?
Kurt. Look at this. Look at the screen here. Screen size.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is that?
So you can actually, you'll see you got extra large, medium, small. These are actually constants that you can actually set, and you can actually change those values. But we're not gonna mess with that right now. Just to kind of keep things simple, because I don't want to get too far ahead so that people don't go, ooh, there's just too much of this. It's really not. It's kind of like what we were talking about with the mapping tables and the many to many. There is a hurdle there for a lot of people, but the hurdle is not as big as you think it is. Okay. So we got app.active screen.
Oh, active screen. Okay.
Yeah. App.active screen dot width or height, whichever way. Yeah. You're on width. Yeah.
Okay. And now in the past, I may have done something like this. I'll go in here and I'll say
parent.
Yeah, parent.width. But if you looked at it, we had I was about to type something and it was we had app dot design height, design width, and then you have height and width. Mm-hmm. Now I've worked, and so if you know more about that, please let me know. I've worked with design height and design width inside of a component. Did you have anything to add to that?
Nope. I've not had a chance. I get very little time to go out there and explore and learn. So these days,
what are you doing with your time, man?
My job just doesn't let me do it. So I just got to know.
You need to quit your job and just hang out with me all the time, man.
That's what I need to do. In my job, I don't get time to go learn. I just got to know. Go. You got to know this, Kurt.
You got to learn from the burn, man.
Got to learn from the burn. So we got that. That covers that. Now what I try to do is
I got to interrupt you here, Kurt, because I sort of want to tell you how much I like what you did here, because that tells me, well, another screen could have a different height and a width. If I go in here and if I go in here and I say template, give me a portrait print. Look at this. So your app doesn't have a height and a width that's set in stone, right?
That's right.
So I like what you did there. So hopefully you didn't forget what you were saying when I interrupted you there. No, but I just wanted to say how good that was.
You're absolutely fine. So the next thing you want to do is you want to bring another container. Go grab you another container, and this one's going to be a vertical.
Now, is it going to go inside that container or just on the screen?
It's going to go inside that container. That's right.
Okay. So I'm going to make sure I click on that. Maybe I'll even click on this plus sign. I think they've added that recently. Okay, look at this. Container.
You know what?
Horizontal or vertical, or does it not matter?
Hold on. I'm checking something. I actually started this off the wrong way. It's okay. It's okay though. So let's go back up to the direction of that container, that first container. I want that parent to be a vertical container.
Right. Okay, we're vertical now.
I'm pretty sure that's right.
Now, does it change the icon over the tree when I do that? Look at that.
Yeah.
That's
okay. That's cool. And then in here, you're going to drop another container, and it's going to be horizontal. I got them backwards. I'm sorry.
Okay. Very good. Very good. Now, what should we be naming our containers, Kurt?
It doesn't matter. See, I call my container CNT main for the first one.
Mm-hmm. And what would you call this other one?
The second one,
child or something.
Yeah, for now, for lack of a better term.
Okay, so I'm going to call this CNT main, is what you said. And on the first screen, I sort of want this to. I'm going to call it my internet or my bookmark dashboard. Everybody likes a dashboard, Kurt. All right, what do I do now? This is fun.
Okay, so you've got your container in there, and you got to set it up. You want the width to be the same as the parent. So you could say parent.width, or you could say CNT main.width, whichever way you want to do it. I think I hard coded CNT main on that because there's a lot of parents going on here. You think about it, you got app that it and that's the parent to the screen, this parent to the container, this compare the parent to the other container. So you're getting a lot of parents. And so for readability, I just put CNT main going on there. That for me, that was just because I'm not going to be moving it around anymore. It's not going to be dynamic at this point. So
Okay.
this way I know what width am I dealing with here.
Right. Okay, so I'm gonna set this up for the width then. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
And then I'm just gonna check to make sure I've got all my I'm gonna check something out right here. That's actually all I care about at that point.
Very good.
For this. Now you can just start dropping a control in there.
Okay.
And now let's say, yeah, you should be able to start dropping controls in there.
So for each internet bookmark, I'll probably want a label. Oh, and I can't move this thing around, Kurt. What's up?
Right.
Why can't I move that?
Right. You gotta learn how to handle this. So what you're gonna do then is you're gonna just go ahead and put a couple more controls in there. Just see what happens. Just put a label.
Well, I definitely want to have I sort of like that little plus sign there, but now it's gone. I'm going to hit insert and I'm going to go for an image. Okay. And I want the I can't move that either.
No. So it's because we're in a responsive container. So what you're going to do now, each row, each thing, how do I say this? Every control is going to have a formula in it. That we have a few things we have to set. So let's go ahead and let's just make sure we've got some things set up here. I wasn't sure we were going to go responsive today on it, but since we're doing this, I'm trying to think how we want to do that.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What I would probably think of doing at the beginning is like, oh, I need a gallery in here or something. Do I need a gallery with response stuff, or how do galleries fit in here?
Right. So that was the question that I had. Did you want to start this with a gallery, or did you want this to start with just dropping in controls? If you're going to do a gallery, it's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be a little different. Now, that means we probably don't want to put this container here is probably not going to cover the whole screen now. This child container. So if you want to put a gallery, let's go ahead and remove this container.
Okay. You want me to remove this container right here?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if we don't use a gallery, how would you do that without a gallery if you want like something repeated over and over again? I mean, is gallery our only option?
No, I think it is our only option if you wanted to start from this point. I didn't know which way you were going to go with it. So I didn't know if you were just dropping controls in there and then we had to work with that, set that up. There's a little bit of work you got to do with that to get things going. So let's go ahead and try this. Let's do the gallery.
All right. So I'm going to remove that and I'm going to add in a gallery. Now it looks like that this isn't taking up the full width and height, and maybe that's because I'm going to put a little border in here, if you don't mind me sort of doing something weird here for a moment or two.
Sure.
Because I want to get more responsive, and it looks like if I run it, it does take up the full width and height. That's good. So I'm going to add in here, you said a gallery. Now I'm wondering, Kurt, I always use blank galleries. If I should use a vertical or horizontal, I mean,
no, just use blank vertical.
Blank vertical.
You want the things to go up and down, right?
And I'm thinking, I want to have if it does go down, I want to have multiple columns of it. You know what I mean? Because a little icon for a link, like a fave icon, and a little thing like, hey, this is google.com or msn.com. Um, it's probably only gonna take up this much space of the full screen, right? So as much screen as there, I want it to take up. I guess I'm confused. I don't know which one to use. But
I, I would
you
just
said
use your blank vertical gallery like you always do.
okay. Now I do actually I haven't created the data sources yet.
Yeah,
Um,
we got to try to do that real quick.
yeah. So we should like call this gal bookmarks. So at this point, do you want to continue here in Power Apps? Should we go over to our ERD diagram or should we go over to SharePoint?
I want you to go and create those tables that you have. Just the simple, basic, raw
Okay.
fields
So
that you
just
have
as
right now.
review, we're going to do this. This was an idea. I eventually want to add folders. I think that would be cool. But right now, for this instance, we'll just ignore that and we'll just work with this basic this thing that we started. So I'm going to go over to site. Oh, looks like I'm already set up to start creating a list here. And so I do see the chat here can also turn invisible off if you want to use it later. Okay. I thought it was funny when MD before said we were working with all these containers. Here's where the fun slash pain starts, organizing the controls. All right. So I'm going to create my first database table, SharePoint list. And our main table will be bookmark. Okay. And it's going to allow me to create that. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and put it up on a different screen so I can just start creating these. And so we got the title. Some I always like to do is I like to see that ID for some reason. I don't know. Do you do that, Kurt? Make that little ID show up of, oh, you left me. You abandoned me. Oh, man. All right. Well, I'm just going to continue on. Maybe his computer froze up. So we got an ID, we got a title. Let's add in here a URL. Okay. Now let's look at this text here. I think we've got 255 characters for a single line of text, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 255. And I'm going to call this URL. Hurt my feelings are hurt. If you're watching me on YouTube, you've abandoned me. Okay. Let's do a category listing here. Now, for the category listing, I want multiple lines of text because let's say we've got 200 different categories and we select all of them. I want to have plenty of text to handle that. So I'm going to hit next. And what I like about this is it defaults to not using rich text. Okay. I'm going to move my head around so I'm not covering all this stuff up. All right. So I'm going to call this. That's right, Max. Thank you. Kurt may have abandoned us, but I have you. Very cool. That's what I like about live streams. I just don't feel like I'm talking to a camera. All right, so I'm going to say category listing. Okay, multiple lines of text. That's good. And I'm going to hit save. Okay, category. You know something I like to add to a lot of my database tables is I like to put multiple lines of text, and I call this notes. So just in case you got some extra data points for a record and you don't have a field for it, at least you can put it in notes, right? I like to do that. So I'm gonna hit save. So we'll have that. And I think that's pretty much it that we have there. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create some test data here. Okay. And let's do HTTP colon whack whack google.com. Okay. Google search category listing. Well, we don't have any categories yet. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit save. Okay. So at least we have that. Now let's make sure we got 2 or 3 in here. Let's put in, something that I use a lot, and hopefully you guys are using it too and enjoying this incredible time that we live in, these interesting times we live in with AI. Oh my goodness, has that last year been crazy? I believe 2024 is AI is going to go to the next level, and hopefully it doesn't replace all of us. Okay, so chat.openai.com. Okay, so I'm going to put that in the URL, and I'm going to say chat GPT. I might give Kurt a call if he doesn't show up here soon. All right, so we got ChatGPT, and I might actually add another one. Hopefully, you guys don't hear um my toddler right outside my door screaming. He's autistic, he has special needs, and he's nonverbal. So I think this mic probably does a good job at noise canceling. I love talking about AI, guys. So if you guys, as a little side note, as we're going along, don't think AI will replace us. ChatGPT is my coding buddy, intern, personal assistant. So, me being a software developer, I look at tools. There is a tool, um, a coding editor called VS Code is very popular, and then there's an extension called um, GPT Pilot, I think. And you install that, and you just tell it what type of app you need, and it will just start writing the whole thing for you. So that's a little as a developer. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it will take a developer to do it. I've used it on a few projects, and there were so many issues. And I think part of the problem is I didn't have all these extensions installed. Um, but it's really interesting where AI is going and what you can do with AI. And it seems like every month that goes by, I mean, not just OpenAI, but you've got all kinds of these other. I mean, Google's is pretty much cannibalizing their own search engine. They've got AI that shows up at the top of the screen when you use Google now. And Shell says, I don't hear him. And if I did, I wouldn't carry of an autism. Oh, my son. Okay, cool. At first I thought you were talking about Kurt. Yeah, I don't hear Kurt either. But yeah, my son, I love him very much, but it can be challenging at times. So, ChatGPT, that's what I want there. I almost wanna have another one because I access it a lot, just openai.com. Okay, that in there. Okay, and I won't do anything with categories right now. I just wanted 2 or 3 things in there, and now I am going to go back, and I'm gonna add that data source. I am gonna send him a message in one of the chat apps, say, "You okay?" Hopefully he's okay. I do notice there is a black bar right here, and I think it's just one of my cables that got in the way there. Okay. Now I'm going to tie into the SharePoint list here. Right. And I think it's my main, yeah, this is called Darrenese. So there's Darrenese, and I'm going to look at, I think I called it Bookmark, and I did. There it is. And I'm going to connect to it. Does anyone can read what I'm writing? Yes. Yeah, you're having internet issues. Sorry to hear that. Um, yeah, glad you guys are here with me. Okay, so I've got the bookmark data source, and we do have a gallery here. Okay. Now I'm going to set this data source up to look at the bookmark. Okay. So now it's pulling that up. And typically I do make these a little smaller. So okay. And Kashif, hiya, right back at you. All right. So I'm going to add in, let's just add in a text. Oh, wait, Kindle. AI. Won't replace the developers that start embracing AI. Yeah, so some people say that developers can be able to do much more because of AI. And, and guys, I have no idea why. If you got,
Hello.
yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Right when you needed
I'm
me
gonna
the
move
most.
you to the other side so it looks like we're talking to each other. Thanks. Thanks, Kurt. Thanks for abandoning me. I have abandonment issues. You do realize that, right?
Yeah, I felt them. I felt every one of them. I said, "Oh my goodness." Yeah, my computer just went.
I didn't know if you quit on me. I don't know if an asteroid hit your house. You just left me out in the wind, flapping out in the wind here,
All of that
live
happened.
stream.
All of that happened. Every bit of it. Yeah, but here I am. So what are you doing? What did I
Just
miss?
a recap. Let me do a recap. Let's catch Kurt up to speed. So we've talked about all kinds of stuff while you were gone. We talked about AI, how it's replacing everybody and going to take over the world, and so I did create 3 records. I got Google, I got ChatGPT, and then OpenAI.
Mhm.
And then I brought in the data source. I've got this gallery here. Look at what's going on here. Is this a part of responsive? There's a little handle here. You think I'd be able to
Okay,
change
so
things? What is
right. So
going
part of the
on?
responsive thing is you got to understand that it's being responsive. It's going to depend. It's going to line up on that. So there's a lot of things you have to check on your on the right hand side to
Oh,
make
I got
that.
a lot of things to learn here, Kurt.
We do. We do. We do.
School me. Break out the crayons for me because
Actually
I need it.
wondering. Let me ask you something. Do you want your app to look? Can I share my screen for just a moment?
Sure.
Because I just want to ask you. Oh, but the problem is I don't see.
Just don't share your your monitor that's 5 feet wide.
No, I shan't. I shan't do that. Let me just share because I have a question. If you wanted to look something like this, since we're doing this here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Entire
As soon as
screen.
I see you share your screen, I'll bring it up.
Okay, this right here. Now, do you want this is a lab that I'm working on for accelerator
Really?
right now. Now, do you want this to be something? Oh boy, what did I just do? I got to minimize that a little bit. Okay, so that way I can control it. Do you want it to look something like this, where you're? Let me get it centered again. My mouse has a hard time. So it's doing this. Is this what you're looking for? Like, so this is a gallery right here that we have.
Okay.
And then what I've got inside this gallery is I've got containers inside this gallery. So if you're wanting it to look like this, then we're going to take away that first responsive container that you have, because I was assuming that you were just dropping stuff into this app just real quick. But we're working with a gallery. So we want this gallery to be the first thing that and then we're going to drop our containers inside of this.
Let me paint a picture if you can imagine something. And so I don't think it's going to be like this, but and there might be elements because we're trying to do responsive stuff, and that's responsive.
Right.
Imagine you've got a screen, and you just want a little image to appear, and you've got maybe 200 images or 500 or 1,000 images, and you just want them to go, and when it runs out of space, it just goes down the next line. And if I have not a lot, then it'll just show me like 3 or 4, and then I just scroll. If I'm on a mobile device, I can just, and that's pretty much all I want. Maybe a little small label, say, hey, this is Google, or hey, this is ChatGPT, but that's it.
So ultimately, then that sounds like the very first thing that we were doing. It sounds like you're wanting to drop images in, or image, or whatever we're going to call this. Maybe you're going to do a label, buttons. I don't know how you want to handle it, but you're going to drop those in the responsive app, the container. You're just dropping those in, and you saw how they lined up, right? You saw how they lined up, and you couldn't really move them around because what they're going to do is that it's going to depend on what you're working with. It's going to move around if you're making it bigger or smaller. However, my question to you then would be, are you going to have to create some kind of a CRUD screen to create these images and all that? And are you going to want to be able to manage these things? So I see you having 2 elements to your app. Your first element is the one that's the action. I want that thing sitting up there so I can just go out there and grab it. It's just going to have a button. But then you're going to have a management, a settings element where you're actually going to have to create these things to put them in there for you.
Yeah.
And then that might constitute the need of a gallery, which might be something like what we're looking at right here, you know? And so notice what I do here is I can actually select an item. Now it's real small. Can you see the color changing in there?
I'm trying to make the right one appear here.
Okay.
Here we go. I'm going to get that out of the way. All right. So continue.
My highlighted color is very slight. It might be not coming up. Can you kind of see the highlight color changing?
I can see it. Yeah, it's very subtle.
Okay. So then what I do is I do an edit of that and I have a little pop-up come up here. You see that? So then, or I could do an add from here, which would be the same pop-up with just a different, it's empty, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So you could do, that's what I'm envisioning you're going to have to do. You're going to have to create some sort of a gallery here that's going to keep track of all your stuff that you can add and edit and filter and look at based on category. You know, you could do a filter pop up like this and have categories come up.
Okay, yeah.
And so then from there, then you would exit this and it would have your screen going up across your line of icons going across whatever you're choosing to use.
Yeah. Kindle says, it sounds like you want a carousel of images that will scroll from left to right. And that sort of is true. But once it runs out of space, I want it to just go on the next row, you know? So what do I do? Let me pull my screen up here. Okay, cool. What do I do here, Kurt? How do I accomplish this? Do I need to go back and do I take out the gallery? What do you want me to do here?
Okay, so I guess we need to answer that question because you had I had two different screens you're working with. So which one are you wanting to do? You're gonna have to put those things in there somehow, right?
I think for right now, I do like your idea of a pop-up. Right now, I could just enter a few of them here, but yeah, eventually I want to like a little pop-up or a crud screen. Yeah.
Okay, true. So you're just wanting to enter a few of them so it goes across the screen then. So then I suggest then let's go back to my original plan with my original 2 containers.
Okay.
And
whenever I make a big change to a screen, guys, listen up. People pay big money for this. I always duplicate the screen because sometimes we might blah, 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 blah. And you're like, oh, Darren, I didn't realize you wanted that. Okay, now we need to go back, you know?
That's good. Yeah.
All right. So what do I do here?
Okay. So you have one, you want to put that other container inside of the main. So,
I will do a horizontal or vertical.
You want to do horizontal. I hope I got that right. Let me just check some here. I think I do.
Well, you showed me something really important. Is like you could always change it, right?
Yeah. But I just want to make sure we're building it. So the way I'm seeing it is you're not going to have a gallery going across here. You're just going to have a label or an image or something that's going to go across that screen there. Give me just a moment here, Darren. Go ahead and talk for a minute. Let me.
I'm gonna do maybe February. We'll have an app challenge called "Create a Dad Joke App," and I always like to let people know I keep all my dad jokes in a dad base.
Oh boy!
I'm sure I've told you guys that before. I think it's funny for some reason.
So the first one is going to be a horizontal, like you said, like you have, and the second one is going to be a vertical, just like you've got there. But the problem is I don't think you want to put that into. I don't think you want a gallery right there. Unless you wanted a what do you call that? The horizontal gallery?
Yeah.
That might work.
Now, Kurt, what came out of your mouth was the parent needs to be a horizontal, but it's vertical. And then you said the child one will be a vertical, but it's actually horizontal. Do you want me to change those around?
So you have it looks like CNT main is I guess you're right. That needs to be, no, it's right. It's right. Vertical.
Oh, it is right. Okay.
And
So
then
what should I do? Do I get rid of the gallery or do I do a horizontal? I need to remove it and do a horizontal one.
I think maybe that might work, Darren. You're just going to have one control up there, and it's going to hold all the gizmos.
Now keep in mind, I didn't do here we go, the wrap count. If I say 2 on the wrap count, how do you do this in responsive? Like, because I want it to keep going.
Right. Wouldn't that be okay? So wouldn't that be the vertical? Wouldn't you just do a vertical gallery? I mean, a horizontal gallery.
Okay. So right now this is a vertical one, and you're saying that I probably need a horizontal one, right?
Let's
So I'm going to
try it.
remove.
Let's try it.
Right. So I'm going to delete that. Okay. And I'm going to put that gallery inside this container here. And I'm going to call this CNT child. And then I'm going to insert a gallery here. And this is going to be a blank horizontal. Okay. And I'm going to say, look at the bookmarks. Okay. So we've got that. And does this gallery, I got a responsive question here for you, Kurt. This gallery just added, is it automatically going to take up the full width?
Well, I don't know. I've never done I don't work with horizontals very much, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's okay. Well, we'll figure it out one way or other.
We want it to just be one column high, though. That's for sure.
Okay. Now,
so
we don't have a height and a width, do we?
Sure you do. Yeah.
Okay.
You got to go over to your on the side over there.
So I'll go over here and say height. And what should I say for the height here?
Let's try 200 to see what it does.
Okay, there we go. And then we'll go over to width. And we'll set this up to be maybe 200, unless you have another number for me.
Well, I was thinking you want it to go as wide as your screen is, right?
Yes, I did. But you mentioned the 200, so I was going along with like if you wanted to see. And I gave it this weird dashed line, and it's still taking up the full width. So is that something that it seems like that commonly happens maybe with these responsive controls? I don't know.
So take your flexible height. Okay, so you have go click on that again. Click on it again. The gallery. You're there.
Gallery.
The flexible width, turn that off.
Oh. Okay.
Now go down. I can't there we go. I think that is going to be determined based on I'm kind of threw me for a loop here today. Get there. Okay.
Experience is what you get when you don't get what you want.
Right. So
now I need your help today, Kurt, because I want to make this responsive. And to be honest, I haven't had the chance to do a lot of responsive stuff. So I'm really enjoying this.
Yeah. I just got to remember how to, so that height, change your height, go to your height. And
where is the height here? Okay, I'll just do it from here. And I have it at 200. What should I change that to?
I'm not sure yet.
Okay.
Hold on a second.
Nomi says, hi, Darren, to make it responsive, add a simple container in horizontal or vertical container.
Yeah.
And then add a gallery into that simple.
You can do it that way. But it's now you're gonna have to deal with that container. I was trying to figure a way. What I'm visioning you doing here is just having let's make this horizontal container. We're doing this a little different now. The container, we've got the container height, the parent height. That is actually, we want to make that smaller now.
Okay.
Because you know how we're going across the whole screen?
Yeah. So for this child container, should I be saying parent.width, parent.height?
Well, we don't want that parent, that main CNT main. Your CNT main needs to go and it doesn't need to go to the app height. It needs just to be like set at maybe 300 or something. You want that to be the limit because you're going across now of your screen.
Okay. So this is the main one. So instead of that, I'm just going to say 300.
Just for now, just since we're trying to play with this. This is something
Yeah,
different.
I like
Okay.
this. It's
So
fun.
now you got this a little bit smaller. Now
Mhm.
we can take this width and we can make this width go to the parent dot width.
Okay. Do you want me to go down to the child, or are we still talking about the main?
No, the child on the child.
Okay. So I'm going to go down to width, as you said,
Mhm.
and I'm going to say parent dot width.
You right or CNT main dot width, whichever way you want to work with it.
All right.
Try CNT main dot width.
Okay. Very
Okay.
good.
So now your gallery is going to be parent dot width.
Okay. Dot width.
Bam. Now we can start. We should be able to just start dropping items in there. Put a label in there like you had.
Ooh,
Now is this kind of coming along with what you want?
I like this. Yeah, man.
Okay. So
Shoo.
now you can make that smaller. You're gonna have to make some adjustments and all that to it to get it right.
No, this is great. This is a great first start. And guys, this is a challenge, not only for myself, but also for each individual one of you guys. I'm challenging you to this. And we're going to review this at the end of the month. We're going to take the top 3 and we're going to showcase them, as long as you're okay with us showing
Now,
your app.
now let's look
Mhm.
at the responsiveness of this. Go ahead and run it and see if you can resize the screen and see what it does. You might have to minimize your screen. Or
Well,
not minimize, but make it smaller.
We'll just do that right there.
Well,
Boom.
the problem with that is it doesn't always work right.
Really?
The best way to test it, I think, is just to go out of total large, the maximized,
Yeah.
and just kind of see if you can move it, and see what it does when you're moving it. Because we don't have it set up for that just yet.
And
Yeah, now see what happens when you try to move it down. Okay, so we've got some work to do yet. Don't we?
yeah.
Well, actually, you got your scroll going. So what we want to do is we want to set the minimum width of your gallery now to be
Okay.
a certain. And this is where there is a little bit of code that gets involved in this. But we're not going to do
afraid. We're not afraid to code around here.
well, right. I just got to remember what it is. That's all. So here the minimum, you got the minimum width, you got a minimum height.
I'm thinking minimum should start with M.
So you see, you got layout minimum width there. Layout minimum width.
There we
See
go.
that?
Now what do I do?
For now, we're just going to kind of hard code something in there, right? So make that, and this is where the screen size, I determine the screen size. So the minimum layout minimum width, if it's large, it's going to be, the size of the screen. Let's make that the size of the screen, the width of the screen.
So look at these dimensions here for phone sizes. Let's go with the very minimum, and it looks like 375. Would you be okay with that?
Yeah, you want it to be greater than 67. But what I'm thinking is, for now, just for now, let's see if we can just change that to this app, change that layout minimum width to be the same as the app width.
App.width. Okay. And you want me to run it?
Yeah, we might have to go active screen. Okay. We might have to go active screen. Okay, so see, it's changing. Now we're going to have to do the gallery width, the item width, the template width might have to be changed as well. We got to have to determine how many we want based on the screen. So let's say if you got like you just said, you had a 667 wide, you might only want to show 3 of those, or 2 of those, or if it's less than that, only 1 of those. So it's going straight up and down then. And so you're going to have to determine that.
Okay. I'm following you. So you told me instead of app.width, you said app.active screen, right?
Yeah, that should give you the same thing you got right now.
Width. So that's going to be the minimum width. Whatever the width is, that's going to be our minimum width.
I want to check something out here. Right, because now what I want to do, we're going to have to work with that template of the gallery now. The template of the gallery, the size.
Okay.
Now, I've
Very
never
good.
done this with the horizontal, so it might be a little different for me. But there should be. Okay, so have we got to the gallery, the template size? Is there a template width or something of that gallery?
Okay. So let me go down here and look for template. We have a template padding, template size. Okay.
Now the template size in this case, would it be right now? It's layout equals. Okay, so what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to do an if in there. This min and max stuff, layout. If self layout equals the horizontal layout, self layout equals. This is something I've not really seen before. So let's just check and say we want the parent width. If the parent width is 1067, we want it to be that we want that code right there to be real, right?
So you said if the parent dot width, right?
Yep.
If it what?
If it's greater than 1067,
then
that means it's full. So we want that to be whatever it is right now. So that I guess we would say that code that you've got in there, the max and min.
This stuff right here.
I think maybe that would work.
Okay.
Do
you want me to copy this? And what does that have a problem with that code? That looks weird. Probably because we're not done with the if, right? Probably. So you're saying I should use that?
I think so.
Okay. And do we want an else in there?
Yeah. Else, if the parent width is greater than or equal to 667, but less than or equal to 1067.
You want greater than or equal to 1067, and if it's not
667. 667.
667.
No. This is the I'm working. I want you to work with the else here.
Okay. So I'll hit Control Z there, and you want me to do another if, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
And then here we're gonna do something similar, right?
Yeah.
But this will be 667.
Yep.
Okay.
And less than 1067. Less than or equal to 1067.
And now, you said less than, what was the number?
1067.
1067. Okay.
So we want that width. We want that template width to be, see, and I'm just working with numbers because I have not worked with the template width on this yet. So I'm just throwing some hard numbers in here now.
And guys, I just want to speak to all the viewers, both in the live and people that are watching this a year from now. I did not tell Kurt, I did not give Kurt any warning. Look at him.
Not a drop. Thanks, Darren.
When he taught at the college I went to, there were some nights he'd be, what are you teaching about? I don't know. I'll figure it out by when I get up to the door. I'll have it in my mind. I'm like, wow.
There's a lot of new things for me on this one because I've not even thought about. I didn't even think about working with a horizontal gallery inside of a container inside of a responsive app. So what I'm worried about is, okay, so what we're dealing with is, you know how in the template size you got usually we work with vertical, so we're going top down. And we can change that based on. So what we're wanting to do is we're wanting to change the hard coded width of each one of those to be smaller, so that we could display more maybe on a. So let's put some hard coded value there. We're gonna put like, let's say right now it's 1067. Let's make this I I don't know. Let's make this 600.
All right. Now the template size, that's like the size of the cell, right? Inside of the gallery.
That's right.
And I think I'd almost like, now I'm sort of like changing. I mean, we really didn't go over the requirements, but I mean, it's not a flexible. Go ahead.
Small. You want it small.
Yeah. So would like 140 be okay?
Sure. I guess I'm trying to find out. See, because if you run the program right now, run it one time for me.
All right.
So what we're running is, see how you got 3 going across there right now?
Yeah.
But if you get smaller, of course, right now it's because we got that condition going in here and it's a mess right now, right?
Yeah.
So I was thinking of trying to get everything smaller somehow so that you could still see quite a bit across there.
Oh,
but I
like that.
I'm doing this on the fly, man. So,
Do you see what MD says?
What's that?
Building something on the fly is never easy. And while people are watching. Well, and if your boss is watching, which feels weird for me to say, you've been like a big brother and my mentor for years.
Yeah. And the problem I'm struggling with is some of the stuff is like, I've never even seen this before. So I don't even know. Like oftentimes I can build things on the fly easily if I know the pieces, like I know a wrench and I know a screwdriver. I don't even know the tools here right now. So I'm still trying to figure out, what is this thing? What's it do?
Well, you know what? The title of this video is a challenge. So we're all being challenged, not just the viewers, but both Darren and Kurt. I don't do a lot of responsive stuff because, hey, you can use it on a little mobile device like this. Yes. Okay. Then I'll make it. But also if I do it landscape, you just turn it sideways. It typically works. And I don't get a lot of complaints, but if you're building a website, of course you want it responsive, but it's good that we're going over this stuff. I want to be well-rounded in all this stuff.
Yeah.
So,
and I've got some responsive stuff down. I've made some videos on responsive, but this is a whole new application of responsive for me. So.
Yeah. I actually want to show you guys if for you accelerator students or those that plan on signing up this year, we have a whole, these are all the modules. Now, these aren't all the modules that we have, but we have responsive design here. And Kurt, you've got 2. I think you've already recorded another 2 that we still need to edit and put up there. Is that right?
I've got a big one, and I got a big one that I'm getting ready to record. So I've got some responsive stuff ready to go.
Yeah. Yeah, and you go over it really well. And just to show you, so sometimes you've got some stuff in your practical labs and exercises, and every once in a while we'll have something in another, not a module, but a little separate course in here.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Okay.
So I liked how it looks at the beginning. Well, I like how it looks now.
So let's comment out that code that we had in there where it's changing right now for now, because I want to show you what I'm thinking here.
So you want me to comment out everything right now?
Yeah. Yeah. Put back in the original stuff that we had. So it was that first part right there.
Oh, okay. This guy there. You guys notice I don't delete code, at least at first. I just comment it out. That's a pro move there. Oh,
definite pro move.
Yeah. So, and Dan asked a question. Someone mentioned it's called the Ultimate Jumpstart Kit, and what that is, if you're interested in it, let's go back over to the Learn Power Apps. If you don't mind me doing this little diversion here, Kurt. If you go to Classroom, where is my Jumpstart Kit? Here it is. And so here's all the downloads and links. So here is the purchase link. And the thing is, I don't think people are able to see it. So I'm gonna put that there, but I'm gonna let you know you may not want to use that payment link. I mean, it's $250, but if you go with the personal pocket coaching, you get it as a bonus. So you get tons more, and you get the ticketing system. So purchase that if you want, but I would highly recommend the personal pocket coaching while it's half off right now, and it includes all that stuff. So
I think you got it with Accelerator too, right?
Oh yeah, you do. No, you're good, Dan. He's apologizing for interrupting.
Yeah,
No, that's good stuff, because if you're wondering, other people are wondering too. So I always like to answer those questions.
We're constantly interrupting. We digress everywhere. Okay, so we've got this. So now let's run it. So I want to show you what's happening here. That I'm trying to understand if you're wanting to. So if you run that and you make it smaller now,
yeah.
See how you gotta, and now you gotta go and deal with that. So what I was hoping to do maybe was kind of closing that gap. Now here's the thing though, you're not going to make these big anyway. These templates. So if we go in there and make that smaller, maybe that defeats your issue that you're going to have with that. Maybe if you're just making them really small, so that way you can line up about 1,000 of them across there.
Yeah. So if I said 140, I like that. Now, what's it going to look like when they're 1,000? So I actually like that, where it's always the same size, because the images, in fact, I probably want it to be a little smaller than that. But also realize I blow this thing up for you guys so you guys can see it. So if I go back down to 100%,
okay,
that might be, I might go half of that maybe, because guys, I have hundreds of bookmarks, hundreds of things. And I break up my bookmarks over browser profile. So I've got a database of this is like a serious thing for me, guys.
Yeah. Perhaps you could change the padding in that and make that a little better.
Sure.
I think the padding is what's the issue there. You also see how that gallery is going across the screen like that. We need to change that.
Okay. So, I'm going to Control 0. Okay. And I do see template padding. Your fat head's covering it up there, Kurt. Template padding. Okay.
So we want to knock it down to maybe 1, see what it does.
Right.
Did that help a little?
And so I'm going to make this more like 40 by 40. That might be a little too little, maybe 80 by 80. That'd probably be good. Now, I think I like a text down below. So let me, if you don't mind me just sort of playing around a little bit.
No, that's what you need to do.
I'm going to make that 9.
I also want you to make I think there should be the flexible width might be turned off. We might want to turn that on.
Okay. In the width of this thing, I'm going to say parent int dot template width. There we go. And I think for now, I might change this later on, but I want to make it like a blue color. And I want to make it underlined to make it sort of look like a link. And then, okay. And so what were you?
Turn your flexible width right there. Go to the right and click on turn flexible width on.
Okay.
Okay. Now run that program one time and see what it does. See how you got that green going off the side there?
Yeah.
I don't want that. I want that to be dynamic. And that's the whole purpose of having this in a container, is to make that. So we need to make that
I just wanted to show people what you were telling me to do. The flexible width, we turned that on right there.
Yeah.
Right. That's the last thing we did. Okay. Now you want me to go ahead and run it?
Yeah. Let's just see if that resizing it. Yeah. It seems like that's going to fix it now. See how it's not, you've got a border around there now.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's working. It's working, bud.
All right. I like it, Picasso.
I still think there's too big of a gap in there. Is that just because you got that thing blown up to 150? That gap is huge right there.
The width of the cell?
Yeah.
Okay, so that would be template width, if I'm not mistaken. So let's go into template width. Or template size, actually. So it's 140. Let's make that more like 100.
Yeah. There we go.
And we'll move this guy over.
There we go.
That looks a lot better, doesn't it?
Mucho better. Yeah, that was really bothering me. Okay.
I thought I was the visual guy. I got hung up on visuals, but maybe I rubbed off.
Oh my goodness. You take me to steroids when it comes to one little pixel off. I'll sit there and I'll spend all night getting this thing just beautiful. Just beautiful. Darren's not going to say a word about my interface. It's going to be perfect. And I go in there and I deliver it. I'm getting ready to deliver it to the contractor the contract that we're dealing with. And he says, "No, Kurt, you're a pixel off over here. Let's get that.
Things aren't aligned.
I'll say, Darren, I got this and this and this and this done. Okay, that's our deliverable today. And he goes, I don't want to hear. He's not even listening to anything I got to say. I got to go fix this little pixel first. Okay, now we can talk about everything else. It's like if there's a piece of dust on there, somebody comes in there with a white glove and says, "Oh no, you got one little thing here." Yeah, boy, I got stories.
Back in our day, they would call that OCD, and OCD is a real thing. My wife tells me that she believes that I'm autistic, and I'm like, well, I've never had a diagnosis, but she goes, that doesn't mean that you don't have it.
Yeah, I'm very OCD
they call it being on the spectrum because there's different whatever. What were you saying?
Yeah, I'm very OCD. I am. I'm OCD. My toothbrush isn't happy unless it's sitting exactly in the right spot, turning a certain way, because it might get too much dirt on it if you turn it the other way. Yeah, it's just weird. Okay.
The reason why I want to be a programmer, because I didn't want dirt underneath my fingernails. Kindle says, what happens if the images are different sizes? Will it adjust to the same size? In my case, I don't want them to be different sizes. I want them to be a perfect square.
Right.
And there's these image positions, and you can make it fill or stretch or tile. You can do some things. So I might mess around with that.
So let me interrupt. So folks, this is why the whole purpose of a challenge, the beauty of a challenge. If you think there's a slick, like say, maybe I want to have some flexible images in there. Maybe you can make your app have some flexible images if that's what you like. Right?
Yeah. Kindle, maybe you make the one and make it. How do you? Okay, so here's a question, guys. How do you dynamically size? Of course, you go into the width or the height of the image, right? How do you reference the original the dimensions of that image inside? So if I click on this image and I say width and height, how do I go find out the width, the true width of that image if you had it at 100%? How do you get the height? How do you know that? Now, I don't have the answer for that. I'm posing that to you. So
you could set that.
And I don't know the answer. I don't think that you can unless you if this was C#, we could figure that out. Because you can do anything with a traditional programming language, it feels like. But you can get at the EXIF information. You might. I'm not sure. So, Kendall, I'd like to see how you do that in your version. And I love what Nomi says. Challenge accepted. So she's accepted the challenge. I like it.
Good stuff. That's what I'm talking about. So these are these opportunities for me to learn. I love it when we throw challenges up there, because I'm going to do the best thing I can do or think about the best way I know how. But then you guys, and I know that there's at least one or two hot shots out there that will outthink me with their eyes closed. So you guys, I'm gonna get an opportunity to learn some stuff from some pros that are sitting out there watching this.
Are you ready for your mind to be blown? Because I've got a.
You've already done that. You've already done that when you threw this responsive stuff at me, man.
Now I'm gonna blow everybody's mind, unless you already know this. Guys, I wrote a bookmark. I wrote this app probably 2 years ago, and it was ugly. I was using forms. My toddler's trying to get in my room here. There's a bit I've learned a bit from it, and one of the things is like I want a little image for each URL. Well, how are you going to get the image? Well, you could write code to go look at the fave icon on a website. So let's say we're looking at openai.com or whatever / maybe a faveicon.ico. You might be able to pull in that image. Well, not every website has that. So I looked around and tried to figure this out. So check this out. Here's the image. I'm going to click on image. And what I did in my app 2 years ago is I referenced, do you see what just happened there? Google.com. I have no idea what S2 is. Okay. Fave icon. And I want an image from Google 128 pixels by 128 pixels. And here's the URL. Boom. Guess what? I don't have to go download some image of it. And he's going to bust through this door. Hi, baby boy. Daddy's working, okay? Yeah, I know it's fun. You got in here, didn't you?
That's awesome. This is what we have to do, huh?
I think he was really proud of himself that he got in. He gets into anything. We got all these child locks, and he'll figure it all out. He's really smart.
Good stuff.
So, what do you think of this, Kurt?
I love it.
Did I do some pebble snatching here?
Well, you've actually got enough pebbles to pave a driveway, but yeah, this is good stuff, man.
Yeah, I'd like to see what Kindle comes up with, because I think the image size for all the images, but I'll do a deep dive on this. Very cool. And in the case of what I've done here, I could tell it to be like, we can have a slider at the top and say, oh, I want my images to be this little 128 could be a dynamic number. It could be in a variable or bound to a slider that we do. Wouldn't that be cool, huh?
Yeah.
You got something to show me?
Well, Nomi just threw something at me here that I think might be kind of cool. The container child container, add one simple container inside of that. See yeah, you might be able to do that. Yeah. I got to think about that, because I don't want to lose responsiveness. When you start adding other containers, now you're going to have to deal with some code within that. So let's just think about that for a minute.
Okay.
This looks good though. So far, what we're doing here, this is kind of what you're trying to do. Now, here's the other cool thing about this, Darren.
Yeah. What you got?
I'm thinking about interface. I'm thinking about design. I'm thinking about intuitive design. You've got a screen right now, and you're only using a small portion of the top of your screen right now. That gallery up there is actually working as like a screen header, right?
Mm-hmm.
So all the stuff below, all that screen real estate below, you could bring the height of that screen up to equal the size of your header. And then if you clicked on something, you could drop it down so that you can do your adding and editing and dropping of icons and stuff.
Okay, so, repeat what you just said. So
in other words, Darren listens to every third word I say, and it's usually he's like, yeah, Kurt's going on about nothing. But then he says, oh, wait a minute, hold on, go back. Okay, so right now your gallery is working like a screen header, right? It's taking up just a small portion of your screen at the top right now.
It is.
So you've got a lot of screen real estate below. You could bring that screen real estate up to the top of your header, or to the bottom of your header. And then when you click on an icon or click on something, then you can drop that down to do any kind of editing of your icon or maintenance that you've got. And it's all right there. See, this is what people pay big money
for this.
They do.
So guys, we're giving you lots of ideas for this challenge.
So this is, I mean, you're almost done already. Now you got your CRUD screen and everything else right below it. And then you can just curl it up. Now, can you do that? Can you make that screen can you bring that screen up, that screen height, to go up to the bottom of that container? The start of a hacker, Thomas says.
MD says awesome tip on the Image League. Yeah. And Kurt, add bookmark gallery in the simple container.
That's what I was thinking about there for a minute. When I saw that, I said, ooh, that might be good.
So would I add another container in here that would go across? I think.
For what? For what?
Well, you said a little panel down here that allows me to edit one of these guys.
Well, so let's make that first container smaller yet, though. The child? Yeah, the CNT child. We've got that hard height. Is that a word? Hard height to a certain spot. Let's bring that up so it's just big enough to cover the gallery.
Okay. So you want me to what's the property name? Height?
Height. Yeah.
What do you want me to change that to?
Well, don't we want that just to be just like the same as your gallery, pretty much as your gallery? Right now. Right. So let's bring that up.
The items in the gallery will be dynamic.
No, but the items in the gallery is going across. So I want the height of the gallery to be the same as the container to be the same as what you got your gallery height.
Part of the reason I think in my brain is that I only got 4 records. I want to have 50 records in here is really what I want. Would have been cool if we would have used the Copilot. We could have said, "Hey, Copilot, give me 50 records," but then we'd be using Dataverse, right?
Are you wanting that to go down? Are you wanting to scroll down, wrap down? Is that what you're wanting it to
Yeah,
do?
once we're done with the width, I want it to go down here.
Oh, okay. So turn your wrap on.
Kurt,
Right?
I've got hundreds of bookmarks, man. This is gonna fill up the full screen. And whenever I put that big monitor that you convinced me to buy, I want it to be and just fill up the whole screen full of all my bookmarks.
Okay. Okay, so then you want that to be wider then, right? So yeah, I guess you need another container below that one, that CNT main.
Okay, so I'm going to add another container here, and we're going to make that horizontal. Okay, there it is right there. So now we might have some controls. You want to put a form in there? Is that what you want to do?
Yeah, and actually what we could do is we could go to Nomi's idea right there and put a regular container in, drop a regular container in there.
Now, why do we, and perhaps Nomi knows this, why do we put a normal container in there? What is that for?
Well, because you're going to actually drop controls inside of that, and you want to be able to move the controls around in there, right?
Yeah.
You want to be able to, because if you don't, they're going to be just boom, 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 stacked on top of each other.
Thank you for answering that. Okay, so I'm going to put a normal container in here. If I can spell it right. Boom. Okay. And maybe I want that form. Now, we don't have to stick with the form, but
yeah, please no.
You don't want me to use a form?
I mean, we can't. I mean, we're doing it now, but as long as we're not sticking with it.
Well, I think it would allow us to, to do individual controls and do the patch. It doesn't take long, but we're already at 2 hours. So that's what I was thinking is just something. And of course we'll replace that later.
So see how right now, and something that I want you to help me answer is that the bottom of your screen right now, you see how you got that right now at the bottom of the border there? I want all that to be able to go up to the top of your gallery or to the bottom of your gallery there, and then come down and drop down. We can do that, right?
I guess what I don't understand. I'm having a hard time visualizing what you're describing.
Okay, the green bar on the bottom green bar down there. Right. I want to be able to roll that up to the base of your gallery there, so that way it's hidden and there's nothing there until you need it, and then you drop it down.
Yeah, that's easy.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What we'll do is we'll create a I'll do it and you'll be like, oh yeah, I could have done that, Darren. You create a local variable here and say loc show edit. Okay. Now this thing hasn't been created yet, right? But here in the screen on visible, I'm going to say update context.
I am glad that you're going through this process. I knew that. I just wanted to make sure that you were okay with doing it that way. Like that's something that we're going to do in the design. Okay. But I'm glad you're doing this because I want people to understand this concept. This concept is not as important as the many to many thing that I said, don't move forward until you understand that. But I really want you guys to understand this too.
Yeah. I'm not going to put that in hidden. Okay. So what do I do now, Kurt?
Well, I don't know.
I have an idea to rearrange the bookmarks in a different order. Yeah, I want eventually when we get there, I want to be able to sort it by, okay, which ones do I use the most? Okay, which ones are in this category? I know I'm going to do all kinds of cool stuff. Right. Okay. And Nomi said, and add bookmark gallery in this simple container. So she's saying put a like this container, like a normal container inside this. So Kurt, while you're thinking about that, I'm just going to start adding some more bookmarks so I get a little bit more data to deal with.
What am I thinking about? What am I thinking about?
What am I doing next? Or is it done?
What are you doing? You're talking about the we're bouncing around so much.
We need to go back to the requirements.
I can't even keep track of what's going on here. Okay, so
we are doing something new here. This is awesome.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you're
Okay.
doing.
Well, I know that I want to have more data to work with because I think we're going to uncover some other maybe issues or things we have to deal with if we had more data. So
Very
if I
good.
said edit in grid, I'm going to try something here, and I've seen people use this like Excel. Okay.
Oh, great.
Scope creep. I'm going to click on this item. I'm going to try to hit
That's
paste.
great.
Like it worked. Look at that, Kurt. We're going to have 100 records now. Yeah, scope creep.
Okay, but that's enough. That's enough, Darren.
That's enough?
Well, sure. You're going to be able to, you got enough to where it's going to be scrolling off the screen now. So
That's what I like. Okay. You see how he is? He's like a big brother. Won't let me have any fun. Oh, look, it goes off the screen, Kurt. I don't want to use a scroll bar.
that was the point I was getting at earlier. so
Well,
what we need
it
to
never
do
dawned on me until I saw it. I'm a visual person.
let's go and click on your gallery. Kill that.
I
Click
love
on
being the student instead of the teacher sometimes.
Yeah, well, right now it's the student and the student. So you're going to go to turn your wrap on, right? Or your is it
What do
there
you want
like
me to do?
is it there like a wrap or something on your gallery for your gallery?
There is a
So you can
it's
tell
not
how many
called wrap. It is
wrap
Oh, it
count.
actually is. It's called wrap
Yep.
count.
So turn that to say 2 or 3 or 10.
I like 10.
Oh,
I don't like 10.
okay.
This is why I wanted 100. What I mean, so I've got space for another one. What's going to happen after I have a few more?
Okay. You win.
Kurt.
You win. I was just expecting it just to go across for indefinite. I didn't realize you were doing that. So okay. I'm still trying to figure out what are the what do we call this? The program, the requirements? Is this what we call this? Is this
Scope creep.
There's no requirements. We're still defining stuff here.
Oh, it's creating all these rows right now. Okay. All right, guys, we got 65, and we got one that I'm going to delete because it looks like it's a blank. So I think I copied a blank row. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to refresh this.
You know how you got your I need an app chat thing?
Yeah.
I think we need to create one called I need a nap, because I think I'm going to need one after this. I'm going to need a nap.
When's the last time you had a cup of coffee, man?
It's been at least a couple hours ago.
So what's going on here, man?
What are you wanting done here? So it looks like you're overlapping here.
So there's a problem here. I do have a scroll bar.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really like scroll bars. I especially don't like horizontal scroll bars.
So you need to increase your wrap count based on how many rows you have. Right.
Okay. So if I change that, like we set it to 10, what happens? Everything's mushed together. So why can't this gallery, or should I say this container? I don't know which to increase. I want it to take up the full size of the screen, unless we have that container 4 visible. You know what I mean?
Okay. Or
you
could say, okay, so I need, this is where some little code helps. You got the height of your image and your label, and then you just times that by the number of rows that you're going to need. So if you got icons, you're going to know how many icons you have. You know how many icons you can get across the screen based on whatever screen size you're on, and just multiply that.
Okay. So tell me the steps. What do I do?
This is your show. Okay. So now this is going to definitely constitute
today it's yours, bro.
No, a compensation. This is
You're
like,
my. This is not an increase in responsibilities.
Oh, way increase. Okay, so this guy. Okay, so what is it? Can you help me with that? Can you find out what the image, the height of the image and the label below it?
Okay, so the height of this image is 80 by 80. I mean,
Okay.
its height is 80.
And then you've got a label below that, right?
Yeah.
So
if I
is
look, yeah, so the height, okay, so if you look at this label, the label's Y is, where is my Y? Okay, so 96 and the height is 40. So let's say 140.
MD, I just want to tell you that this is what we call flying by the seat of our pants. That's what this is.
How fast is that, Kurt? How fast?
That's half fast.
A project charter, yes. So guys, I just for the record, I want everybody to see what I was trying to do at the beginning of all this. Do you remember this? I'm going to rewind, and Kurt says, nope, let's start with data. This is good. We're having fun. Every day Saturday, Kurt. That's what you tell me. All right. So let's say 140.
Starting to feel like Monday. Okay. So we're going to call it 140. So now we need to do a record count, a row count.
Okay. But where am I going to do this at? So we got all these controls and we got properties for these controls. Do you want me to go?
So you have a wrap count. That's where we want to do this at.
Okay. For the gallery. So we have a wrap count there. Boom, 10.
Okay, hold on. We need to make, that's what we're going to need to do this in the height of this gallery at this point, right?
Okay. So let's go to the height right there.
Yeah. Okay. So now we're going to do a row count. Count rows of whatever you're dealing with, whatever your table is there.
Self dot all item count. Is that okay?
That'll work.
Right,
that's 64. So then we're going to we said it was 140 was the number per each row, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're going to divide that by how many rows do you think you're going to need then? So you're going to go across. How many's going to go across on a full screen?
As many that will fit there. Now realize, Kurt, this could be on a Samsung Fold 3. It could be on my browser. I want the thing to stretch across.
Okay. Well, that's what
I want it to always be dynamic.
That's what we're going to do then. Okay, so then let's go back to that. So we're going to have to deal with screen size stuff. This is going to take a little bit of thinking here.
It's a challenge.
Yeah, in the moment. So okay, so now we got to deal with the width of the image. The width of the image is still what? What's the width of the image?
It's 80.
It's 80 plus a pad. Pad might be 5, so we'll call it 85, right?
Okay.
So you're going to want to know screen size. So let's say if it's greater than 1067, I don't know what are your screen size? Yeah, 1067, but that would be your large screen size, right? So I'm just trying to think this through here. You're one that we don't care 1067. So we're going to do screen size.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the right? I'm trying to think of the property. I think it's screen app dot active.
Yeah, I liked what you were doing before, the app.active screen, because each screen could have different dimensions.
Right. App.active screen size or size. Maybe it's just size. Okay. So we're not going to do an if here. I'm going to try to do this without an if. I'm going to try to do this. Okay. So I'm going to take, so we've got to compute the numbers going across, right?
Right.
So it's going to be 85. So it's going to be that divided by 85.
Okay.
That's going to tell us how many we're going to go across, right?
Uh-huh.
Then we need to figure out how many of those we're going to need. So get that number. And I would round it.
So we're just dealing with this one line of code so far. So we have this, and then what do you want to do?
And put a comment up there that says this tells us how many icons across the screen we're going to have. how many icons fit across the screen.
Okay.
So then we need to count how many, because we need to know how many icons we have. So now you're going to get to count rows.
Okay.
So
self dot all items count should give us that, right?
Yep. And then we're going to divide that by that number. So right. So that's going to tell us how many rows we're going to need. Correct. We're going to probably run around both of those things. And then we're going to times that by 140 because that's the height of your icons, right? So that's how high our screen is going to be.
If I select all this, I've got 26 in change.
26 rows or 26? Yeah.
26 pixels. That's what the height is expecting.
Okay. So no, we don't have that right yet. That self items count comes after. So we're trying to compute the active screen size divided by 85 is across. Okay.
If you're getting anything helpful out of this, a comment or even a like really helps the channel and lets people like you know this is good content. Much appreciated.
I thought I'd play that while you were thinking, then you started talking and then that played. Sorry about that.
Okay, we have it broke down, but you just don't have it in the right spots. I didn't want you to. Okay, so we've got the active screen size divided by 85 times. Okay, so that tells us how much that's going to be. The items count is going to tell us how many rows are. Yeah, that's not the right thing. Okay. Active screen size divided by 85. That's going to tell us how many are going across. That times 140 is not yet there. So we've got, what's that give us without that all items count? What's this telling us? Can we just take out and isolate that? Just do the app active screen size divided by 85.
Sure. Now I'm about to do that for you. Now, something that I'm thinking might go into this is if you look at the gallery over here, we've got the wrap count.
Yeah,
do you
I'm
think
not there.
we need that number to sort of come up with this equation?
We're going to need that eventually, but I need to find out how high my thing needs to be, right?
So right now we're at like 0.18.
No, it's not accurate. That's not right because you're going to have to take time. You're dividing that by 85. That's giving you how many rows you need. So let's see what that number is right now. That's how many fit in a row. Let's see how many fit in a row.
Okay, so what do you want me to do here?
I want you to take out the all items count. That I just want you to isolate what you have highlighted right there.
Oh, okay.
That's all I want you. I want to just see that for a second.
Sure. I'll do like little forward slashes here. Okay, so I'll select this. And we got 0.047. If we look at the size is 4.
Okay, that's why.
Do you want to look at the height?
I guess we're looking at the width of that. Dot width.
Well, it's given us a 4.
Go to dot width. Active screen dot width.
Okay.
No, not size. Not width. Size. Yeah.
Okay.
Divided by 85. Now, what's that tell us?
Okay. It is 16.
16. Okay, now that's a number that I was thinking more like.
Okay.
Okay.
Very good.
So now we need to do. Now we're gonna add our self items divide count. Put that in front of that.
Right. Got that.
Do we want that in front of that?
And that gives us 0.00055.
Times, do a times up there. No, times, yeah, times 140. That's the height, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what's that tell us now? What's that give us?
Okay, so what that gives us is 0.077.
Okay. So obviously then we need to do something a little different. Maybe we need to put maybe we need to do the width divided by 85 times the 140.
Okay.
No, that's not right. That's not right. I don't know. That's about the limit of my thinking in the moment here.
Okay. Yeah, no worries. So I'll throw in my thoughts, and it might help and it might not. First of all, what I'm thinking is, so we're trying to come up with a height, right, of the gallery, and over here we're working with width. Now you might have meant height here, right?
Nope.
No, you actually wanted the width. Okay.
Because we need to know how many icons are going across. How many icons do we need? If you've got 230 icons, how many are going to be on a line? I need to know how many lines we need, right?
And then instead of 85, could we divide by this wrap count? Would that?
Well, we don't know the wrap count yet because we need to know the number of rows. See, the wrap count is going to tell us how many rows we have,
okay,
right? So the app screen dot width divided by 85. Please try play. Okay, that's what I'm thinking. We need to have some parentheses in here.
Okay, so around here now, the parentheses do help with the order of precedence.
Yeah.
But everything is either multiplication or division. It shouldn't make a difference, but I will put those in there and see what
Well, it does make a difference in the case where we're trying to isolate a number and then divide that number. So we don't want it to divide the screen width and then times it. We want to get the screen width times. Okay, so we got the screen width divided by 85. That tells us how many we need per row. We got, so self items dot count is going to divide that by that number. That okay. So let's get rid of the times 140 right now.
Okay.
And see what that number is going to be.
3.98.
So that tells us we need 4 rows. Does that sound right?
Okay. And then we multiply that by the 140. I see.
And that is going to give us the height. And that's going to give us our height, right?
Okay. So you want me to put that 140 back in there?
Yeah, let's see what that does to us. But it's going to be big now.
557. That doesn't sound bad. Now, what I have noticed, sometimes these controls, especially the flexibles and the other stuff, sometimes it changes when you actually run it.
Right.
But it didn't seem to really.
So then what I want to do is I want to change the wrap count. So I want to we need to hold a number here. So let's put that wrap count is going to have to equal. It's going to equal self dot all items count divided by that everything but the 140, right?
Okay. So we're going to take this.
Will that be right?
I say we try it and see if it looks right.
I think
that's close. A lot of times what I do. So I'm going to copy that, and you want me to put that where?
In the wrap count property.
Okay. Let me go down there to wrap count. There we go. Okay, that gives us 4.
Ew, that looks nasty right now.
This is where the real learning happens, Kurt. Like I remember, working throughout my career, every time, you're never going to jump in and be able to do anything. So this is a great demonstration of this is
run the program. Run the program now. Let's see what happens. And resize it and see what it does.
Okay. Yeah. Looks like Google and OpenAI is having a fight, and I'm not sure who's winning. And Power Apps is in the middle.
We're trying though, ain't we here?
Yeah. So
Okay, so what we need to do is we need to create some more space in the heights and the row heights. That's what we need to do right now. It's not enough. The row height.
something you notice is this gallery never gets any taller. Is that because it has the limit of that container that it's in, that it can't get any bigger because the containers?
Yeah. We need to increase the height of that container.
And would it be okay for now if I just said, okay, it says parent dot height, and the parent is only, so maybe on this container, the height needs to be, is it okay if I put that back in?
Just do it.
Oh, that's so much fun.
The problem is we don't want it to be that wide if we're not needing the space, right?
You're right.
So that's kind of what we need to do is we need to have the logic in there that it needs to be the same height as the computation that we just did.
Okay. So the computation that we just did is this right here. Is that what you want?
Plus the times the 140, right?
Okay. So, and that was in the height, I believe. Right? This right here. What are you laughing at? Are you laughing at me?
No, I'm laughing at us. This is hilarious.
Have you ever seen the movie Dumb and Dumber?
Yeah. There's a rule that says, if you don't want people to know how stupid you are, don't open your mouth and prove them.
Don't open your mouth.
So that's kind of how I feel right now. I kind of feel like I got put on the spot, and I feel like I'm failing badly in this. Okay, so I just don't know if I like looking like an idiot in front of live YouTube.
Well, look at me.
You don't mind looking like an idiot.
Guys, this is how you learn. Guys, in a year, you guys will depend upon me as the responsive master.
Oh, absolutely.
Maybe not.
Oh no, we're gonna learn. See, I don't like the width of this gallery is not changing with the screen. Why not?
Okay. Now, if I run it, it does.
Okay.
I think that something that you told me is that, somebody told me, but the most valued thing in today's society is authenticity.
Yeah,
being real. Because you go out to Instagram, you go out to Facebook, people are just showing their best side. And Kurt, we could have spent a whole week on this. We could have made it perfect and showed them the best side of this. But how we roll is we're authentic. Well, we'll show you the messiness, and we'll show you nice polished stuff and say, hey, it's usually like this, but here's the polished one if you don't have hours to learn with us here. Maybe we'll create a polished thing here. But I know my requirements are a little whimsical, which is also as MD mentioned. That's why we need a project charter.
So we have
all right. So what do we do now, Kurt?
So we have a minimum height on that gallery. What's that all
about? Minimum height.
Okay, that's probably okay. Maybe we want to make that minimum height actually be the same as that what we just computed. Okay.
So you want me to put that in there right there, which gives us a value of 557.
What's that doing for us now when I do that?
Okay, let me resize this guy. I'm almost expecting a scroll bar here.
Well, we might not have the scroll bar turned on or something.
Now, if you hold Shift and use your wheel on your mouse, you can do the horizontal scroll, because I don't see the scroll bar here.
Let's go back. You got to go to your container.
No, you got to tell me which container.
The child, container child. And we should see where it says horizontal overflow and vertical overflow right there. You want a vertical overflow. You want that to be scroll.
Wow. Okay.
And let's turn the wrap on just to see what kind of action that gives us. I don't know if that's going to help us at all. It might actually make things
I can
worse.
scroll up and down now. Look at that.
Well, there we have it. Okay, so
What do you want me to do?
turn that wrap back off on the child container that you just turned on.
And that
I think it was
was
the
on
child
the
container.
container here.
Yep, turn the
You want me
wrap
to
on.
turn wrap off?
Yeah, because I don't think it was really helping us yet.
You want to see what it's like now?
I'm not sure what's going on with that. It just looks crazy, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah.
All right, so maybe our template size is causing us problems.
Mm-hmm.
The gallery's template.
Yeah. So template size is 100.
It's 100, and we need that to at least be 140, right? And probably we want it to be about 150 because it needs to accommodate the height of the picture and the title. Put that in there. Make it 150.
Because this is a horizontal gallery, template size is the width. Do you still want to make that 140?
Right.
Now,
But
maybe
that's
what we
the
should have done is a vertical gallery. Maybe I don't, because
problem.
any additional ones would go across this. No.
Well, I mean, yeah, maybe you're right. I mean, there's no reason why we couldn't do it this way. Is there? Well, that's how come I increased.
I say we continue with what you're thinking. So, do you want me to make this 140, or should we just keep it at 100?
No, because the 100 is that's the width, isn't it?
Yeah. And the width of the image is 80. So we got a good gutter of 10 pixels on both sides.
Right. For some reason, what I want to know is why is it giving us all this in a diagonal type pattern here? What's going on with that? Why is that doing that?
Yeah. That I do not know.
Do me a favor, at the end of the equation that dealing with the height, add 200 to it just to see if it's got something to do with that height it's trying to squish it in.
Okay, so am I going to the height of the gallery? Is that what
Yeah,
you want?
Yeah, where we're doing the I think the height, the height of the gallery, right there. Just add 300 to it. I just want to see what the heck is happening here with that.
You said 100?
Plus 300.
300.
Make a bunch so I can just kind of see if it does anything with the. Now change your deal. Change your screen size. Does it?
Ooh, that actually looked normal there for a second.
Okay, so yeah, it does. So we're getting closer now. We're closer. We're getting closer. Okay, so by adding, so let's go ahead and I just want to see if we add another 300 to that, what it does. And we're gonna have to put this into the equation somehow mathematically, but
yeah.
I'll resize your deal. It's almost trying, isn't it? Oh boy, it's really getting close now. Look at that.
Oh.
Then when we go higher, it's trying, isn't it?
Yeah.
It likes it right there, don't it?
Yeah, it's like if it meets, like if it's divisible by a certain range of numbers, it can do like a fine whatever.
Okay, part of the problem is we didn't round. I remember I said we probably should round a couple of those places.
There you go. Yeah.
That might be what's screwing us up.
Okay. So where do you want me? What property?
We want to round that which is in the app width divided by 85. We want to round that.
Okay.
And nope. And put it on the other side, inside of that first parenthesis.
Okay.
Maybe you were getting ready to do that. I just want to make sure you were. Okay.
I wasn't. Round. And do we need to give it how many decimal places? Like 0?
Yep. Zeros. Now, this divided by self items count, we probably need to round that as well. So that will be a round of that whole. You see how you got self items count up there?
Yes.
In front of that parenthesis, in front of that, on the other side, the left side of that parenthesis, put a round.
Okay.
And that'll be 0 as well.
Am I rounding everything?
No, just round right where my finger is pointing. Right up, you see where you got 85 comma 0 and you got 2, put another one right there. Damn. I think that makes me happy.
And we probably need another comma 0, right?
Angry. Yeah, maybe not. We still have a problem. Oh, is it saying? Is it because of that times? Okay, yeah, you might be doing that right there. You know what I'm wanting, Darren? Fix it.
Maybe we got too many right there.
Getting sideways in here in a hurry, ain't I?
What do you do when things go sideways?
Okay, so you can't round that. Can we put it all on one line so I can just see it? I can't program it's all on different lines like that.
Now this is funny. Like, so Microsoft changes it up. You could only format the text if there was not any errors. Now I'm trying to remove the format, and now it won't do that because there is an error. Isn't that funny?
Okay, so
I could put all in one line though for you.
Let's get rid of that last round just for a second, just to take a look at this. What we got.
Now, when you say the last round, you mean the one at the top or the one in the middle?
The one at the top. And get rid of all that stuff, and let's make sure it's working that way. And it's not happy yet.
We needed 2 of them there. We need a 0 there. Right. Oh, we don't need this.
We don't need a comma. Yeah.
The complaint is number of arguments.
Oh, you need a comma. You got
the comma there, right?
There it is.
But now it's got an error here.
So get rid of that.
There we go.
Now we're happy.
Phew.
So that gives us the first round. Now I want to round the division, the self all items count divided by that product right there. So I want to round in front of the self.
Okay.
And then I want a comma at the end of that double parentheses over there.
You want a what at the end?
I want a comma there. Put a comma there. 0. Okay. That's happy, right?
It looks like it, yeah.
I think that works. Let's see what it gives us. Let's see what happens. Boy, it's so close. We are getting somewhere.
Look at that first record, the first row.
Yeah.
Google search. It's like it's got its own row to its own self. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
This is interesting, guys. This is a learning experience for me. So this is great.
In the end, it might have been just as easy just go with the vertical gallery and just slap it in there and do, and adjust the width of it from that. Which was what we were thinking. But I went to the horizontal going across because I thought that's what you wanted, just one row going across all the way.
Well, to be honest, I don't know how all this works with all of these responsive containers. So I didn't want to go. I didn't want to go off of what I'm used to in that direction. You know what I mean?
See, if we went back to my example of the screen that I had, it was a vertical gallery. I don't have it anymore. I don't have it up.
Whoa, that's trippy.
Isn't it? Yeah. Oh, you know what I do? I do have it. It's right here.
Okay.
You see me?
I do. I
I don't
do.
see you. Hold on. I got to move you guys so I can see you. Okay. So this is a gallery, a vertical gallery, and I've got containers going across here. And this is kind of what you're saying. You're wanting icons coming across here.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying? So then
Yeah.
you see how what I'm doing is I'm dividing, I'm bringing this back down. So this is going to go right along with what I was thinking we would do originally, but I was misconceiving what you were saying.
Okay.
I thought you wanted this to have one row going across the top of your screen and just scroll indefinitely. And then you said, no, Kurt, I want everything, So what we've got to do then is we've got to figure out a way to put those items. Yeah. And just change your wrap count. Just do a vertical gallery like we were going to do and just change your wrap count based on how many icons you have.
All right. So I'm going to rip this gallery out.
Rip it out, man.
Rip it out?
Rip it out.
I'm going to do it. I duplicated my screen too before I did. Okay. So the new gallery is going to go into C&T Child, right?
You know what? I don't even know if I want to put a gallery in there or a blank.
Well, how do we repeat rows?
Sorry, I misspoke. I don't want to put a container in there. I just want to put a gallery in there. Maybe. Okay. Let me hold on a second. Let me see what I did here. Just so I don't mess you up. I have a home screen.
Yeah, because if we make all this stuff dynamic, it's gonna resize. Maybe we don't even need responsive containers in this because it's just.
Well, we do. We want the responsive containers inside the gallery. Maybe. I don't think we need to, bro. No, just put a gallery on the screen.
I'm deleting everything.
Because I've got a bunch of responsive containers inside of my gallery because I'm doing some special stuff with it. Okay, that's why I did it. But you're not doing nothing special with it. You're just displaying a couple of things on it, and you're wanting to change your wrap count based on the length and height of your app screen. You're just going to make this responsive within the gallery.
Yeah.
So we said all that, guys, to say this. Go ahead, Darren. You know what to do.
Okay. So yeah, let's get it done here.
It's simple now, bro.
Yeah. I am gonna go in here and at least grab the image and the label. Okay. And I'm gonna go up here. And Kurt, I'm gonna leave these screens here. This might be a good learning experience. Maybe there's something in there that we're trying to figure out that we can address later and make a good video about it, because somebody might go down that road and they have to use these containers and they have to make it work.
You mark my words. I will figure this thing out. I won't be able to sleep until I do.
Kurt, you haven't been beat yet.
Nope.
All right. So the wrap count, I'm going to go with 10. Here we go again.
Look how easy this is now.
Look how easy this is.
It is now. This is what you wanted.
Yeah. Now I want this to be dynamic on the wrap count eventually, but I'm just trying to get things to look right for a moment.
Yep.
And
get
for this,
and
instead of that, I'm going to make that a 140 for now. Oh, look at that.
Look at that. So much easier.
That's what I wanted.
This is what you wanted. Oh.
But I want to respond. Okay. Well, let's see what this looks like on the responsive.
Well, it's not responsive yet. Yeah, man. It's not responsive yet. We need to make it responsive now.
Well, that's junk.
Well, but that code that I did is not going to come to nothing. We are going to use something with it here.
Let's do it, Kurt.
So now we got to change our wrap count dynamically based on the items that we have. Yes, sir. Because that's going to control how many you have going across your screen, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be, let's go back to your code that you copied. Let's go back to our old code and just get that pulled out of there. Because
get it done.
That way we don't have to rethink that whole formula again. Because
that was in the height, right?
Yes.
copy that.
Yeah. Now let's go and put that in our. We want to know the wrap count right now, right? That's what we're wanting to do. So we're gonna have to adjust this. By the way, pull down your yep, and let's go ahead and paste that stuff down there, and we're gonna rip out some of these things. We just want to know how many rows we need. So the rounds are going to be important. That 140 and 600. Let's get rid of all that. The 140. Do we need to get rid of the 140?
Well, let's comment it out for now and put it down there.
Okay.
And so we're looking for a number between 1 and 10, or maybe 1 and 12 or something, right? I think there's a limit on the wrap count. And it might be 10. I might be thinking about a form. I don't know. We'll see. So the number we get now, Kurt, is 4.
Okay, that's not accurate because we need it to go times 85, correct? Because we know we need, okay, you got that. 85 is the number wide. That's how wide one of those items are. We're dividing the width of the screen by 85 to see how many can fit on a screen. We're dividing that. If we go back, 4 is the how many we can fit on the screen. That's accurate. Okay. Then what we want to do is we want all items count. Okay, that tells us how many can fit on the. That tells us how many rows we need. Then, right? So really, your wrap count just needs to be that. So we don't care how many items are in there because we're computing height here. So let's get rid of, just do round active screen width divided by 85, and that's your wrap count.
Okay, you're gonna have to tell me what line to go on. To, at least point at the screen. Where am I going?
Okay, go to the top round. Get rid of all that. Rip it out.
Just delete that.
And the parenthesis.
Okay.
The one, yeah. Get rid of all that.
Do I want the comma 0 out of there too?
Well, yeah.
Because it had to deal with the round. Okay.
Yeah.
We're taking that out.
Get rid of all that. And why do you have one? We don't need them two top and bottom parentheses either. Get rid of those two.
Okay. Don't need that.
Now self items count. We don't need the self items count divided by.
Okay. Don't need any of that. I'm taking it out.
Yep. Because all we're trying to do is we're trying to compute how many things fit on a screen. We don't care how many things you got now. Okay. So that should do it.
All right.
Ooh, look at that. Ooh, look at that.
Kurt, has anybody ever told you how smart you are? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Well, what if I say?
Look at that. Huh?
You did good.
We're done here. We're done here.
Who's your daddy?
So I went from I don't want to look like an idiot on live YouTube to I like looking like a genius on live YouTube.
Well, there's two states of every programmer or software developer, right? It's either I'm a rock star or I have no idea what I'm doing.
Well, and oh my goodness, Darren, me and you're going to have a heart-to-heart talk about throwing me under the bus out here in the middle of this stuff. Oh my goodness. You said you woke up this morning and said, you know what? I want to welcome Kurt to my world. Because this is what you do every day. And I go, oh my goodness. I taught for a number of years and I like to have some kind of an idea of the things that I'm going to talk about a little bit. Now, I might not know what I'm going to talk about until I get there, but at least want to know, that was kind of rough.
There's something that you said when you were teaching, and a lot of times people are like, well, I need to do this. Well, I need to do this. It's like, hey, this isn't as easy as it looks.
Now, see, I don't like something there. You see that, how you got half a thing sitting out there?
Yeah, what's up with that? That's your code. Why is your code doing that?
We're not done yet. So we might want to round down or round up. Round up. We might need.
Do we have a function called round down?
We got one. Yeah, I think so. Round up, round down. Yeah, round down.
You said round down, right?
Yeah. We might need it. It's either that or maybe we need to subtract one from the.
Okay. Tell me
Not
what to
there
do,
yet.
coach. Huh?
Minus one. I'm stuttering here.
So 1 pixel.
Oh,
No, that's wrap count. Never mind. You're right.
that count.
It's
Yeah.
not a pixel.
Don't do that to me. Oh, it's almost there. It's close. See, there's a rounding error going on here. We're rounding error. Can we do a round up?
So check this out, Kurt. 10. It's giving us a 10. When I run
Okay.
it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
10. So we need
So
to
maybe
get
we
that.
need to subtract 2.
Try it. And that's why I say we're having rounding error. You got to change the size, bud. Change the
It's
size.
still cutting it off.
Change the size. Can you change the size?
I'm trying, Kurt. Trying.
There it is. There it is.
Well,
There
it
it is.
looks fine now.
Okay, make it go bigger again. Bigger again. Oh, well, that's because you're in between. You're in between here, bud. So you're going to have to do, because that's what happens with every responsive app is you get these states when you're going in where it's half on and half off.
Yeah.
Which means you're not all there, you know. It's going to be the same no matter what number you put there. So that's why what we do is we do if we're going to do this right, we're going to have to do it. If screen size is this, make it be that. Else make it be, because otherwise you're going to get those states in between those states. You see what I'm saying? But even then, you're still going to have a state issue, I think.
I'd like to answer a question for myself, if you don't mind.
Well, sure.
And I think you and or other people might find this interesting. I'm going to say 20. Does it really allow me to go 20 wide?
You said there was a limit.
I thought there was. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Now make that go wider. Now make your screen go wider and see if it'll let you go 20 wide.
Have a screen as wide as yours, though. No, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the max is 10. It just ignores any number above it.
Maybe not. Maybe not yet, because your gallery width is not being reactive. So you have to change that to the screen app screen dot width.
Oh, Kurt, we should have been doing this the whole time.
Well, we probably did, but you probably weren't listening.
On another screen. App dot active screen
dot width.
Boom.
Now, how many do you get across there now?
Let's make sure the height's set up too.
You might still be right. We got angry code there.
Where?
I saw Measle. I saw Measle.
Well, for a split second until it caught up with.
You may still be right, Darren.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. And I'm going to make this thing go across both of these monitors here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the most you can have on that count is 10. So I must have done this before and was recalling that because we have the template size to be 140 or whatever it was. Maybe it was 100. Oh, the 140 was the height. But this isn't bad. Now, why doesn't it take up the see sometimes these things don't come into effect until you hit that run. This isn't bad. How do you feel, Kurt?
I feel better. I feel better. It's not there yet, but I feel better. At least I didn't end the thing being a blubbering idiot, but
So now you know how I feel when I'm sort of stumped and I want to fix it. You know what I mean? And then it's like, well, this live stream has gone on too long, and I'm gonna I still need to get back on that menu, that modern tab.
See, that's because you're the F-16 pilot. I just come in here, drink my coffee, and just kind of pick on you all day, and then that's what I do. Now you said, no, Kurt, you're going to do this today. I need you
to leave these if I have a stomach flu.
That would be an increase in responsibility, which would require an increased compensation. So
I'll put you on salary and it just as assigns.
there you go.
I don't know
Okay.
why my camera keeps doing that. That's weird.
So has everybody got any questions about what we've done so far? We've done nothing, but we started working with gathering requirements, and we said, well, let's go ahead and start with the data. And then we said, well, let's go ahead and just, what I wanted people to do is I wanted people to understand the relationship between the many to many, which we never got solved because we decided, well, let's go ahead and throw a gallery up here. So we ended up going over here. So we've kind of gone both ways. We said, let's figure out what we're going to do as far as the interface and whatever else.
Kurt, we had fun. And really the big existential question now is, the $1 million question is, what are you going to watch next?
For some reason, YouTube thinks you're going to like this video next. Let's see if they're right. Or you can select this playlist, which I've selected for you based on the content you're currently watching. Guys, got to hurry. Click one of them. Otherwise, YouTube's going to autoplay some other video.